my suggested page and I liked it, so I decided to record this quick video for you. And when I turned it on, my camera wasn't working, so I apologize about that. But I've got your socials open here. And oh yes, let me go ahead and actually subscribe here. I like what you're doing with the channel. And so basically, I asked my colleague to reach out for you. And for quick context, myself and my partner Harris run a company called Creator Income, which we built after scaling his personal brand to millions of followers across platforms. So these are my partner Harris's social media pages, got millions of followers at this point, and we've made over 7 figures from his personal brand and helped multiple other creators to do the same. Anyway, I'm not here to brag. I just want to show proof nowadays, because that's important. And to cut to the chase, basically I'm making this video because I'm extremely confident that we can help you make an extra $10 up to $50,000 a month or more consistently from your audience by adding 10 to 50,000 people or more to your following and launching or scaling your existing online course, coaching program, or community on the back end. Now I know what you might be thinking, that sounds crazy, or too good to be true, right? Depending on where you're at and who is this weird young looking guy on my screen claiming all these big numbers. But I mean, I can speak with this level of confidence because we've done it ourselves, right? With my partner's personal brand, we have millions of followers, we've made millions, and we've basically created a system for creators just like yourself that works like a charm. Like, we've gotten proven results, not just for ourselves, but we've actually now worked with hundreds of other creators with all sorts of audience sizes, big or small. And we put our money where our mouth is because we guarantee these insane results in writing and work on a complete results-based model. So you cannot lose. So if you do not profit, we do not profit. That's how confident we are in what we do. And hopefully you can hear it in my voice as well too. And so anyway, basically, we'll help you make $10,000 to $50,000 a month or more and double, triple, or even 10x your following all over the next 6 months, right? The way that we do that is we basically partner with you and give you all of the systems that we use so you can plug and play. All you have to do is post content you love and enjoy creating. It doesn't, change your time schedule at all, as I know you're probably busy. And in fact, it'll probably give you more free time. And like I said, we put our money where our mouth is because you only pay us if you profit. So yeah, look, fully transparently, I don't usually go around doing, random pitches like this, but I came across your stuff and I'm just really confident we can help you. So I figured, why not make this quick video? And usually when I make a personalized video like this, people tend to, respond with a lot of interest. So yeah, if you're open to getting more followers, scaling your income, impacting more lives, let's schedule a call. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and add a button for you to schedule a call in the corners here of this video somewhere. So just go ahead and click that, book a quick call for us to chat. And yeah, honestly, cannot wait to talk to you. Really looking forward to it. Go ahead, book that call, and I will see you soon. Okay. Thanks for your time. All right. So your call is booked. Thank you for that. And we are all set to chat soon on how we can help you build and monetize your social media audience. You've got a few emails coming your way from us that are going to be very informative, answer common questions that people have going through our process. Now, there are 2 quick things that I want to help you do right now before the call. Number 1 is that I want to help you do your research on us and your due diligence on us as a company and how working with us is. And number 2 is answer any immediate questions, provide any value just to make it a win-win for you. Even if worst case scenario, we're not a good fit to work together, we still give you some help on your channel. Now, before that, real quick, I want to make sure that your call is actually 100% confirmed on your calendar and on our calendar. Just because Google made an update last year where sometimes people will book in and it won't show up on the calendar. So if you check your email, like you see on the screen there, you should have an email at the top of your inbox called Discovery Call. Just click into that. Pause the video for a second and click yes. That way it's going to prevent Google going rogue on us and canceling the call. And then, it prevents us from thinking that you booked the call and you're not actually serious about showing up. To give you some context, myself and my partner Harris have grown his audience to 4 million followers across platforms and made over 6 figures a month on the back end consistently. We've now had the privilege of working with over 300 creators to help them build and monetize their audience, like all the people you see on the screen now. Most of which, by the way, when they were booking this call, they had a lot of common questions in their mind and they were quite skeptical, who are you guys? What even is this? How does this work? And, rightly so, there are a lot of bad apples out there. So below this video, you'll see a bunch of case studies from people who had those same concerns and decided to make the jump. And you can hear what they have to say for yourself. And you can also see their live channels and the hundreds of other small wins our clients are constantly getting. But honestly, that's not even that important because everyone has proof nowadays, right? So the main thing I want you to pay attention to is the 1 to 2 minute breakout videos that you'll see below this video that go over common questions that are probably in your mind right now. Like, what do you guys actually do? Like, who are you guys? How do I know this will work for my channel, my niche? What's the best way to monetize my audience? What results can I expect to see? We even go ahead and show you clients that haven't had a good experience with us, even though that number is small, because this is real life. And when you sign 300 clients, some people aren't happy. So we show you how we dealt with them, what we did, etc. So you can see how good things can be and how bad things can be, right? We cover both sides of the spectrum. We believe, and I personally believe, in being radically transparent and honest. And we hope that you respect that and share that value with us. So I highly encourage you to go below, watch those videos, get informed, and there are a lot of them, because whenever we get a question that somebody asks us on a call like this, to save us time and save you time, we just make a video on it. And that's the way it's designed. So just go below, watch the videos. The thumbnail is the question. Click and watch the ones that you want and, ignore the ones that you don't. That's the way that it's built. So do your research below, get your questions answered, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Again, on the call, we'll be breaking down all of the systems we use, showing you the best way to make more money from your channel, and showing you, real life examples of channels just like yours that have done what you want to do. And we'll also answer all your questions. For your benefit as well, we're not going to harass you on the phone from now until then. We'll send you a couple courtesy texts. If you have any other questions in the meantime, feel free to email us at help@thecreatorincome.com. Again, if anything is missing from here on forward, between now and your call that would prevent you from showing up, please communicate with me, right? Just shoot me a text, shoot me an email. I'll chat to you on the call. Otherwise, I'll see you soon. So at the core, what we help you do is build and monetize your audience. Now, the whole point of the call is for us to build a customized plan for you based on your situation. So what we actually do will be different depending on where you're at. But to sum it up, after building our audience to millions of organic followers across platforms and making over 6 figures a month on the back end, having worked with 300 plus content creators and paid for consulting with some of the top social media experts in the world, we know how to build and monetize social media audiences and have the best systems for it. What we're going to do is we're going to give you those systems and help you implement them so you grow your audience faster by making better content that gets more views, likes, subs. Then we'll help you take that attention that you get and monetize it in the best possible way. We found that for educational and edutainment channels, consistently the best way is having your own product, a course, coaching program, or community. That's the best way to make the most dollar per follower. So if that's something you're interested in doing, we give you all of the best systems to launch that. Or if you already have a product, your own product, we show you how to scale it, make more from it, right? So my name is Ottavio Zurbini. This is my partner, Harris Husseini. We currently employ over 20 people in our organization, but our core team is made up of about 6 key team members that I'll introduce to you later in this video. Harris has been doing social media since about 2020, and in 2022, I met him and offered to partner with him on his social media and help him monetize it through a course. With just 3,000 subscribers, we did 20K in sales the first month. From there, we achieved very fast but very sustainable success by growing the #1 soccer educational channel and personal brand across platforms, where Harris is the face of it. So as of recording this, we have 4 million followers across platforms and get millions of views per week. And about a year and a half ago, earlier on in our success, we started getting requests by creators in our network for help to build and monetize their audience, just like we did. And that's where we started doing this. We've gotten amazing results, expanded, and now have worked with over 300 creators. You can find more info on our website here. So it actually doesn't matter what niche you're in. We've gotten results across all sorts of niches, as you can see here. So we've got Mark, who helps people repair vintage electronics. He's got a channel, as you can see here, that is in a very unique niche. We've got Steven, who helps young students learn and improve their test results. We've got Dr. Lyman, who helps people with actually big DODD agencies. We've got Brandon, who helps Christians grow closer to God. Nadia, who helps people with their sexuality and relationships. Vlad, who helps music producers. So as you can see, a bunch of different niches. Even Dino, for example, here, who helps rich Africans outside of Africa start farms in Africa. So as you can see, the niche does not matter. And the reason we can help people across so many different niches is because we know how to grow YouTube channels and businesses. And those principles and systems work across all niches, right? And you have the niche expertise. So together, we have everything we need to crush it. So no matter what niche you're in, if you make educational or edutainment content, our process works. Well, let's look at the numbers for this one. I'm going to compare the most common ways that YouTubers monetize their audience, okay? Number one, AdSense, so the YouTube Partner Program, that's the most famous one. So CPM, your cost per 1,000 views, is $2 to $10 depending on the niche, right? So for example, if you get 100,000 views a month at $5 CPM, you're going to be making about $500 a month. So the positive, it's easy, it's passive. Negative, you need millions of views to make like real money. Number two, you've got sponsorships or brand deals. So you probably make between $20 to $50 per 1,000 views with that. So for example, if you get 100,000 monthly views, you're making $2,000 to $5,000 in sponsorships, right? It's higher than ads, but it's also inconsistent, and brands decide if you actually get paid. Number three, affiliate marketing. Typical payouts are 5 to 20% of the product price, so $2 to $50 per sale. Conversion rates maybe 0.1 to 0.5%. So for example, if you get 100,000 views, 200 sales at 25 commission, you're making $5K a month, right? It can work if the audience is primed and the product is a perfect fit, but you're building someone else's company and your margins are kind of capped. Next way is your own course or program. So pricing between 200 to 2,000 plus, depending on the depth. Conversion rates, even at a super conservative 0.1% buying, 100,000 viewers, 100 buyers a month at, let's say $500, that's 50,000 a month. 10,000 views, 10 buyers at $500, 5,000 a month, right? You get much higher margins, authority, scalable, and it's your own brand, right? But it requires strategy and you need to package it, right? So clearly your own course or program wins because ads are pennies unless you're massive. Sponsors are decent but unreliable. Affiliates, better, but you're capped and you're building someone else's business. Your own course, you set the price, you control the customer relationship, and it can scale to 7 figures, 6 figures, even with modest traffic. That's why we guide creators to build and launch their own products first. It's the most profitable, reliable, and long-term play. Now, you might be saying, well, Otavio, I don't want to launch a product, or I don't know what product I'd launch, or what could I even teach, and that's fine. We can still help you. I made some videos below this that address those concerns, each of them. So go watch those. Well, that's a fair question, and honestly, one of the most important ones you could ask. Here's the truth. With 300 plus creators we've worked with across all kinds of niches, the system itself works. The frameworks for content, growth, and monetization are proven because they're the same ones we've used to build over 4 million followers and scale to 100K plus months ourselves. But what you're really asking is, what if it doesn't work for me? And that usually comes down to 3 main things. Number one, consistency. Are you putting in at least 5-10 hours a week? Number two, execution. Are you following the framework step by step instead of freelancing it? And number three, fit. Is your niche actually aligned with educational edutainment, like the ones we specialize in? If those boxes are checked, then it's just a matter of time. Some see wins in weeks, others in months, but the system always compounds and works. And here's the safety net too, because we run a results-based model with a guarantee. You're not taking all the risk. If you do the work, follow the system, and somehow don't profit, you get your money back. So the short answer is, yes, it works. It's already worked for hundreds of others, and if it, for some reason, doesn't work for you, you're protected. This really depends on 2 big factors, okay? Number one, do you already have an offer that's making money? Number two, how big is your channel right now, and how engaged is your following? So let me break it down for you. If you already have an offer that's selling, the fastest wins comes from dialing in your content and your funnel. So more people see it and more people buy. We've had creators go from, a few inconsistent sales to stacking 10 plus K a month within the first 30 to 60 days just by fixing positioning, traffic, and follow-up. If you don't have an offer yet, you're just a YouTuber, the first month is about packaging something your audience actually wants and setting up your system to sell it. By month 2, 3, most creators are already making their first 1 to 5K, even with a tiny audience. And if you have a small channel, like a few hundred, few thousand subs, you'll likely see growth in views and subs within the first month as you apply the content frameworks. Because you're small, the money side usually starts smaller, 1 to 5K range, but that alone proves the model works. Then it scales as you grow the channel. If you have a bigger channel, like 10 plus K subs, then you already have leverage. Even a small shift in content strategy and funnel setup can unlock 5 to 20K months almost immediately, like it has for our clients. For larger creators, it's less about proving the model and more about finally tapping into the revenue you should already be making. So the timeline we typically see, weeks 2 to 4, your content starts reaching outside your kind of bubble. You have better hooks, retention, more momentum. Months 1 to 2, you got your first product launch or optimization if that's something that you want to do. Small channels, you're making 1 to 5K. Big channels, you're making 10 to 20K. Months 3 to 6 is where we really start compounding. Consistent traffic, proven offer, that's where 10 to 50K months become normal and possible. And 6+ months, you got a real business. You got a real business around the channel. You're not just posting videos, and we expand from there. Great question. So we have a team that surfs YouTube looking for creators that we feel we can help, and then we send them to myself. I'll then check out the profile, and then I'll reach out to you if I think that there's a fit. The criteria we look for is 4 main things. Number 1, you're an expert in your field or niche, so you know what you're talking about. Number 2, you are posting educational content of some sort. You're not purely entertainment content. Number 3, you have general positive feedback in the comments. No one complaining about you, scamming them or negative comments about you. Number 4, you're actually posting and trying to grow your following and putting in some sort of effort, right? So you fit all of these criteria. We believe you do. And so we feel like it's worth having a chat to see if we can actually help further. Well, the honest answer is it varies. It depends on where you're at right now. If you already have a big audience and an offer, your setup might be simpler. If you're starting smaller or haven't done an offer yet, we'll be working more to, upfront to build that with you. Because of that, the fee isn't one size fits all. What's constant is the model. We run results-based, meaning we only win if you're winning. And at the end of the day, if you pay and don't profit, you're getting your money back. On the software side of things, you can run basically very lean and pretty much for free to start. And then sometimes creators will add, up to $100, $200 a month with that. So the bottom line, it's tailored to your situation. It's designed so you're not taking all the risk, and if it doesn't work, you don't lose. Well, let's be honest. What clients do you think I'm going to connect you with? The successful ones or the ones that didn't like us? Probably the successful ones, right? So besides the dozens of long form interviews we've done with successful clients where we also show you their channels, what I'm going to do is what a lot of businesses won't do. I'm going to show you how we've handled unhappy clients. Now, before you start thinking this is a common occurrence, look at all our constant wins and testimonials. Don't take this transparency as a business as us not knowing what we're doing. We've gotten results. We know what we can do. We've got a lot of wins, as you can see here. But on the other side, here are some examples of what we've done when someone from our 300 plus happy clients isn't happy with the results they're getting. First of all, we have, for example, Danny, who joined the program and had an AI channel teaching people how to run a cleaning business. He posted consistently, followed our process, but missed some key requirements we have in place in order to actually get a refund and follow the process fully. Still, at the end of 6 months of working with him, because I could see that Danny had put in the work, we offered him a refund and ended up agreeing on a partial refund because we had put a lot of time in, he had put a lot of time in, and technically he didn't actually qualify for one. Alternative, we have Sarah, a dog trainer from Canada with a large channel. He started working with us in around January and chose a package where we end up compensating us $6,800. He had 70,000 subs, but was getting low views and was struggling to monetize. And I tried a bunch of things, but it just wasn't working with him. He had a $2,000 package to help dog owners with very reactive dogs solve their issue. After 3 months, he still hadn't signed a client, but he had paid us $3,200 so far. So I told him we'd pause his payments and he wouldn't have to pay anything else. And we ended up discovering that his current channel was dead. So after much reluctance, we started a new channel with him. And that actually allowed him to sign his first client, make his money back, and get more wins since that. And beyond that, we haven't charged him anything else. These are just examples no other businesses will give you because they want to pretend it's sunshine and rainbows. It's not always like that, but we want to make things right. And I want to show you that and hopefully respect that transparency as a business. Short answer, yes, but it depends slightly. You don't need to be the #1 world authority to help people. You just need to be able to teach something you figured out that others haven't. Think about it like this. If you're a 6 out of 10 in expertise, you can absolutely guide a 1 out of 10 to get to a 3 out of 10. And people will happily pay you because for them, your 6 out of 10 feels like a 10 out of 10. And that's how the entire education industry works. College professors, coaches, mentors, none of them are the best in the world, but they're further along than the students, right? And remember, your audience follows you for a reason. They trust your perspective, they want to learn from you, they trust your experience and your way of explaining things. That's all you need to package into a course coaching community. The real key is just making sure the offer is structured in a way that gets people results. That's exactly what we help you do. Well, the sweet spot is about 10 hours per week to start. That gives you enough time to create content, learn the system, and start to build momentum. If your schedule is tight, you can absolutely do this in about 5 to 7 hours per week. It'll just mean results will take a little bit longer to compound. And yes, you can 100% do this alongside a full-time job. A lot of our clients started working while working at 9 to 5 and started working with us. The tools and AI we use to cut out a lot of the time wasting and busy work. So you're not grinding for hours and editing, scripting, or overthinking. Bottom line, you don't need to quit your job or work full time on this. With 5 to 10 hours per week, you can start seeing traction and scale from there. Absolutely. In fact, those are often the clients we can help scale the fastest. We can help beginners, but this crowd and above is who I like to work with the most. Here's why. At 10 to 30K per month, you've already got a proven product that sells. The foundation is there. But usually, growth has plateaued because content isn't consistently reaching new people or the funnel isn't optimized to convert all that attention into sales. That's where we come in, dialing in your content system to bring in predictable audience growth and tightening your funnel so you're not leaking revenue. For creators already doing 10 to 30K plus per month, it's common to double, triple your revenue simply by improving traffic and conversions without even having to launch a new product. And we also add in backend systems like upsells, automations, high ticket offers that quickly turn 10K into 30, 50, 100K plus, right? So streamline fulfillment and leverage AI automation so you're scaling without burning out. So yes, if you're already at 10 to 30K per month, you're in a perfect spot. We're not helping you start from zero. We're helping you scale. That's already working into something much bigger. Yes, it works whether you're starting from scratch or you've tried it before and it didn't pan out the way you wanted to. If you're brand new, we'll help you avoid the trial and error most creators waste months or even years on. You'll get clear content strategy and monetization path from day one. So you're not just posting and hoping, right? Even with a small channel, you can make your first sales because you don't need millions of views or even tens of thousands of views or even thousands of views. You just need the right viewers. If you've tried before and failed, that actually puts you ahead because we already know what doesn't work then. We can use that as data. Most of the time, the failure wasn't you. It was a lack of proven systems, clear positioning, or an offer your audience actually wanted. When those pieces are fixed, the same effort you were putting in before suddenly starts paying off. So bottom line, whether you're brand new or you've tried and failed, we meet you where you're at and give you the exact system to make it work this time. It works across platforms, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. The reason we focus a lot on YouTube is because it has the longest shelf life, so a good video can bring you views and sales for years. It's the best platform for building deep trust and authority, which makes selling easier. But the system itself isn't YouTube only. The same principles that we use, we also teach in terms of short form, IG and TikTok. Short form clips can drive attention really well. YouTube builds deeper authority and actually helps you with longer term growth. All three together work like a machine, but the main one that you want to have is YouTube. That's the core that every single one of our audience has. So the short answer, we also work on IG and TikTok. We have about 3 million plus followers across there, but YouTube is the backbone and the main one that we focus on. Absolutely. And we actually share that exact value. We're against being salesy to your audience. The way we set it up is the opposite of pushy. Instead of trying to sell people, we try to get people to actually buy so that it's a natural next step for them. That way, it feels like they're choosing to buy, not that you're actually forcing a sale. That's how we were able to grow by 1.8 million followers last year while massively scaling the business at the same time. We never had to rely on spammy tactics, and it works because we always put the audience first. So there's not a doubt in my mind we can do the same with you because we share those values if you're watching this video, right? Your audience will feel respected, they'll appreciate the clarity, and many will be excited to finally give them, that you finally give them a way to work deeper with you. That's actually one of the most common concerns people have when they start, right? Here's the thing. You don't need to have the perfect idea from day one. Most creators already have something in them that's valuable. They just don't see it clearly because it feels normal to them. That's where we come in, right? If you don't know what you teach, we'll help you identify the skills, knowledge, or experiences you already have that your audience would pay for. We'll then help you test which topics your audience actually wants so you're not guessing. We'll package it in a way that feels natural to you and genuinely helpful to them. And if you don't want to launch a course, no problem. Courses are just one option. Some creators do coaching, digital products, templates, or programs instead. The important thing is finding the right model that fits you and your audience. The short answer is yes, this still works. Even if you have no idea what to sell right now, we'll help you figure that out and build the right thing together. The long-term vision is simple. You're not just building a YouTube channel, you're building a business and a brand that can support you for years to come and give you the freedom that you want. Here's what this looks like. Your channel keeps compounding. The content you post today is still pulling in views and sales months or even years from now. Your offers get stronger over time. Once you've proven your first product, it's easy to layer in new ones, high ticket programs, masterminds, digital products, physical products, whatever it is that you want to do. You become the go-to authority in your niche. Instead of chasing clients, opportunities start chasing you. Partnerships, speaking gigs, even media features. Your income grows and stabilizes. You go from hoping a video goes viral to having a predictable system that consistently brings in traffic, leads, and sales. The real vision is freedom. Freedom to do work you actually enjoy. Freedom from having to rely on sponsorships or algorithms to make money. Freedom to scale this into something much bigger if you choose to actually do it, right? Freedom from the content hamster wheel. So the short version of this, the long-term vision is you owning an asset that grows in value every month, supports your lifestyle, and gives you more options than just being a YouTuber. Interview. I am here today with Aaron Chen. I believe you joined us about 5 months ago at this point, and we've had a pretty interesting journey with some pretty impressive results. So that's what we're here to talk about today. So Aaron, do you want to kind of tell everyone a little bit more about yourself, introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name's Aaron. I'm actually based in Malaysia. I've been marketing online for 16 years. Took me a long time to figure stuff out. I teach affiliate marketing. I'm an affiliate marketing coach. And, I met Otavio and Harris online and really wanted them to help me with my lead generation, especially on social media, things like Instagram. I was trying to figure that out for a long time. Couldn't. And then I met these guys, and these guys helped me to get some great results.
Awesome, man. Yeah. And so I guess diving into that, kind of before you started working with us, where were you at in terms of like what were you mostly struggling with? What did kind of the business look like at that point?
Yeah, so the business was already pretty good because I've been doing it for a while, but I was generating most of my leads from YouTube. So YouTube was my
Mhm.
bread and butter. And I was doing okay on TikTok, but I was really trying to break through with Instagram. So I was already getting leads and sales, but I was really trying to figure out how to blow up on Instagram. And that's where I was really struggling. Um, And with Instagram, I had been trying it for about 2 years. I bought a whole bunch of different courses, stuff that was more traditional, just doing posts, and then stuff where they focused on reels. I spent a bunch of money on that kind of stuff, went through a whole bunch of Instagram accounts because some of the strategies that they were teaching me weren't very good. I found out in the end, right? They were using a lot of strategies that were actually pretty dodgy and was affecting the algorithm basically. And then really I joined your program to figure out how to blow up on Instagram properly and create, short form content. And that's kind of where I was when I met you guys. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, got it. And that was then about 5 months ago, correct? Did I get that right?
That was about 5 months ago. Yeah.
Got you. Okay. And then what have the results been kind of since you joined us? You obviously like joined and then about a month or two and decided to restart the account.
Yeah.
And what is that from scratch? What does that kind of look at like?
Yeah, so we started with my current account, with an old account, which I thought was pretty good, but it wasn't. And then so we restarted from zero. And I was really nervous to do that, to be honest. But trusted Harris, his channels are just huge. His videos are doing so well. So started from scratch and, just really trusted the process, worked with him very closely. And the thing I want to mention about working with you guys is that it's one thing to get the actual videos, but to get that sort of feedback where you understand that someone's starting from zero on a particular platform is really nice. And he was very encouraging. And that was actually what kept me going because I did exactly what he said, but it took a little while for us to get there, right? So when you start a channel from scratch, it's kind of nerve-wracking because I put in so much work, but he's like, listen, just trust me on this. Just start from scratch. We're going to try a whole bunch of different formats and one is going to blow up eventually. It might take a little bit of time, but just trust me on this. And I did. And eventually it just blew up. So we did that for about maybe a month and a half. And then I had one piece of content that just exploded. It went from like 0 views to hundreds of thousands of views. That particular reel is done more than 2 million views now. And that was the reel that really made my channel pop, right? So all of a sudden, Instagram sees my channel, quote unquote, sees my channel. Everything just increases. And then I started doing a few similar type of videos. And then we started testing a few different formats. And then it just continued to explode. So I went from 0. Now I've got about 41. Hold on one second. Just let me check. 41.2 thousand followers. It's insane. And my average video on Instagram used to do about 300 views. They call it the 300 view jail, right? I've got videos doing like, 2 million, 800,000, 500,000. If I get anything less than like 5,000 views, I'm sad that day, right? But on average, they'll do like 10,000, 40,000, just hundreds of thousands of views. It's mad. It's insane. And then on top of that, I'm generating leads, right? So that's really, it's not just about the views. I'm here to generate the leads so I can make customers and sales. And I was averaging about 1 to 3 leads per day previously before I met you guys. And then after stuff started blowing up, my best day was like 200 leads, 500 clicks on my link, 200 leads, 210 leads, just like night and day. So it's been a pretty incredible journey. And what I came here to get, I got, which was really cool. Yeah.
That's insane, man. That is like we trust. I trust Harris and like believe in our process, all of that. And I knew we could help you.
Yeah.
I can't lie though. When we first spoke, I did not think it was gonna be like that. Like be able to get that growth, like 0 to 40K in like 3 months, completely organic. Like I've almost never seen that. That is like amazing. But obviously you'd built that foundation before, right? And so it was just like getting those extra little nuggets to be able to kind of take it to the next level and find that format that works was what kind of got that there, right?
Yeah, for sure. And definitely going through, I've been doing video for a long time, but I've never done video at this level, because Instagram is such a tricky platform, right? They're very unforgiving. So you really have to kind of level up your game. It's so funny. We're just talking. I just got a sale that popped in as we're doing this interview. I don't know if you heard that beep.
Yeah.
And that's through the leads that's coming through, Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that, which is really cool. But it actually forced me to level up my game. And that's not a bad thing, right? I always thought that I was pretty good at video, but like I have never ever done video like I've been doing right now on Instagram, and that's why it's working so well. And it's really pushing me as an entrepreneur, as a marketer, and it's really good. So I'm really happy about that as well. And it's a direct reflection on the results, because I don't think that there's no way that I could get 2 million views on a video making videos like I used to in the past, right? And so it's been really cool. And it's really interesting, Otavio, because I've seen people in my space. So I'm in the make money space, the business space, and it's a very competitive space. And when I compare myself to other creators in this space, like, honestly, some of my stuff is outperforming them, and they've been doing it for so long. A lot of their channels, they're doing like 5,000 views a video, 8,000 views a video. And for me previously, I was thinking to myself, if I could just get to like 3,000 to 5,000 views per video, I'm going to be so happy. But now it's like, if I don't get like 100,000 views a video, I'm a little bit sad, to be honest, because the standard is so high. And the stuff that Harris does, I mean, if on Harris's channel, I mean, he's doing like hundreds of thousands, millions of views per video, right? And I'm basically implementing what he taught me. And so the standard is just so much higher. And it's just really cool, to see that.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I guess like to give a little bit of insight, obviously you don't have to, drop all the secret sauce, but what has been some of the things that like maybe some key like differences and things that you've been working on that you feel like has made that big difference working with Harrison that?
Yeah. So, Harris is very analytical. He goes very deep into why a video works, right? So the hook, how do you engage the person? And then just kind of understanding that with Instagram, especially if you start from zero, from organic, you really do have to try a lot of different things to see what actually works and what the algorithm picks up. And once it does that, then you basically just replicate that and find, new formats. But a lot of the things is understanding how to keep the viewer engaged, right? So it's not just about doing what you think will work, or maybe, copying what other people will work, because just because something works on another business channel doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for your channel, right? So it's about finding what works for your channel and then dialing that in. And so for me, it was about, how do you keep someone engaged? What are the different tricks that you can use? What are the different techniques, right? Yeah, I used to just do videos where I would just kind of shoot and talk the whole time. And that's just so boring for people on Instagram. So I kind of learned how to do different scenes. I learned how to do script writing. I never used to script write. I just used to think about the hook, and then I would just shoot the whole video in one shot. Now every morning, I've actually changed up my schedule for this. Every morning is the first thing I do. I'll grab out my script. I'll think about the hook I want to create. And then I actually spend, just a little bit of time, 5-10 minutes writing the script. And then I shoot my Instagram videos first thing in the morning. I get it out to my editor, and then that's done for the day. And then I work on my other stuff. So, it's been a really cool learning process, and it's helped me to also work well with my editor, because I never used to do it in that kind of style. And so, just leveling up as a marketer, as an entrepreneur, which is awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And I was even thinking, like, by the time someone's watching this in the future, or like this interview even goes out, I don't know how many, you're probably going to be at like 100,000, 200,000, like the rate you're growing, it's crazy. So it's probably going to seem like small numbers by the time you're watching this back. You're going to be like, what? I'm not happy with 1 million views now. Like, crazy stuff. So I guess on that note, where do you kind of see yourself the next kind of, like, based on the results so far, what are your kind of plans, and where do you kind of see the next 6-12 months? What is like the next for you then? Is it to continue to blow this account up? Is it like other platforms? What are you thinking now?
Yeah, I think I just want to, focus on, well, the things that I'm already doing outside of this program, like the YouTube, the TikTok. So I'm going to maintain that, but I'm really going to be focusing, hard on Instagram and seeing where I can go. Honestly, I didn't expect the results to be this good. I thought it would be like, 5,000, 8,000 views kind of thing and slowly grow. But I mean, this thing is just popping like crazy. So I'm hoping, the next 6 to 12 months, wow, 500,000 followers is very possible. Getting consistent to maybe over 500,000 views per video, 1 million views, kind of going up there, just figuring out which format works really well with my audience, and then getting even more leads, because at the end of the day, it's not just about the views, right? It's about how many leads you're getting, dialing that into customers and sales on the back end, and really making Instagram, one of my main sources of traffic. I never thought it would be. I thought it would just be like, maybe 10, 20, 30 leads a day. But I mean, 200 leads a day is just madness. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really good.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. With that being said, I guess in terms of, you mentioned earlier that like you had tried different programs, especially for Instagram specifically, it hadn't quite worked out. I guess like how do you feel like we were
Yeah.
different in this scenario? How what do you think this time was different that actually allowed it to work compared to all those other kind of programs that didn't quite work out?
Yeah, it's really interesting because your program is not just based on traffic. It's a full program. It's like understanding how to attract people and then bringing them into the back end, monetizing and stuff like that. And we haven't even spoken about any of that. I really got into your program just for the front end, because I
Yeah.
already have my back end. But um, even that alone, just the front end, is so different from the traffic programs. Like I've been in quite a few just Instagram specific programs, and even your Instagram training is already way better than these other programs, because you guys actually go down into the sort of the really analytical parts about why someone would stay on the video, how to tweak it. You talk a lot about scripting. A lot of these trainings that I've been through in the past, a lot of these coaching programs, they don't really talk about scripting. They don't really talk about different characters and what attracts different people and things like that. Also, with your program, I mean, Harris is really good, right? I mean, I'm sure Otavio, you do the same thing. I message Harris directly, and then he'll send me like a recording. I'll show him my screen, and then he'll actually send me a recording. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, kind of breaking down what he thinks. And I think that hands-on approach is really great, because a lot of other programs, they don't do that. They might send you a reply on text in a Facebook group or in whatever group that they're using, but sometimes it's not enough detail to get the student to actually understand and take more action, right? So I just kind of worked with Harris back and forth. It was like I gave him feedback, he took a look at my stuff, gave me feedback, I worked on that feedback, and I think it was just that constant encouragement. It's just like, Aaron, just trust me. I know this sounds weird. I know it might be frustrating, but if you just keep doing this, I know that it's going to blow up. And I think it was that type of encouragement and confidence that made me keep going, even though I've been doing this for a long time. I've been
Right.
here for 16 years, right? But when you're trying something for so long and it's not working, you're like, this isn't working, man. But like, he just, you guys really know what you're doing. So it's just like that encouragement and confidence made me feel confident about it. And I just kept doing it. And then when you see, when it finally blows up, you're like, these guys, they really know what they're talking about. And that's why I think that's the difference between this program and a lot of the other stuff that I've been through. Um, a lot of the other stuff is not so, I didn't really feel that confidence. It's a little bit more transactional, but this is like, you're really kind of bought into the student's business, which is really awesome. So thank you for
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Awesome. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I guess a last question there would be like if there is someone who is perhaps a little bit on the fence about working with us because maybe they have been in other programs out there that haven't quite worked out for them, or they're just a little bit hesitant. I guess what would you tell someone
Yeah.
in that position? Because I remember our initial call, there was a little bit of hesitancy because naturally you'd been in these other programs and it hadn't quite
Yeah.
worked out the way you want. So I guess what would you tell someone in that situation, I suppose?
Yeah, I would say don't even think about it. At the end of the day, it's about the results that you want to get. And if you want your business to be successful, then definitely work with Otavio and Harris, because these guys know what they're doing, right? Whether it's just on the front end lead stuff that you're trying to fix, or you're trying to fix the whole thing, or maybe just the back end, these guys know what they're talking about. I've been in so many programs. I've been doing this for 16 years. I've literally spent hundreds of thousands of US dollars, okay, on my own education. Uh, I've been through so many programs. This is a very, very good program. These guys care. So I think that if you're serious about your business success, whatever niche you're in, you should definitely join these guys. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. It's been a pleasure. Absolutely. All right, awesome. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another interview. Today, we're here with Matthew Kohler, and he has a channel on darkroom printing and photography. And so, I guess Matthew, before we get started, do you want to tell everyone a little bit more about who you are, what you do?
Yeah, well, I've been a professional photographer for going on 20 years. That's been my main source of income, and I started a YouTube on kind of a more niche, like old school black and white darkroom printing years ago, and it started to take some traction. So I saw that there was quite a bit of interest in it, and people started asking me if I would do workshops and things, and so it had really been on my mind for a long time to offer some kind of education, and I tried various routes. Done things and found some success with them, but then would hit roadblocks and things. And then I finally was asked, by one gentleman to really coach him, and that kind of prompted me to get some materials together. And at the same time, I was introduced to Atavia and Creative Monetize, and hopped on a call with them, and it seemed like it would be a pretty good fit to actually get done what I knew could get done, but I didn't have the steps in place, and I didn't have the roadmap, to actually get it done in the proper way. You know what I mean? And to build this out
Yeah.
to kind of what I know it can be. Yeah. So that's pretty much, like my history on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. And I guess that was a couple of months ago, but now you launched probably last month, if I'm correct, right? We're in July, it was in June that you launched?
It was about 2 months ago with the
Well, that
initial
was the
the
and then
pre-launch. The pre-launch was a couple months ago, and we had people come in, and then I built it out and did the full launch. So yeah, a couple months now.
Gotcha. Awesome, man. And I mean, we went through kind of so far you've made over 60, you got new 60 members through, and that's different price points. We were joking about how you have multiple price points.
Yeah, well,
Um,
I kept writing one thing in my scripting, and then saying another thing in the video, and it was kind of a mess. But yeah,
yeah,
there's currently 61 members in my community. 61 have joined over those couple months, so it's been really awesome.
awesome, man. Do you know what's the total revenue coming in so far then for that launch?
I want to say, I think right around 16,000, but I don't know if my numbers are right. It's
Yeah, mine were maybe we need to look at the mine was when I added it with the numbers you said it was 22,
20.
but
Okay.
you got
Yeah.
18 people at 250, right? So for the pre-launch,
Yeah.
that's a little pre-launch. I guess tell the story of the pre-launch. You were only supposed to do 10 people, and then you had too
Yeah.
many people.
I think 20. Sorry, I'm not great. My wife does all the books, so I honestly don't. I haven't run the numbers, but 20, like a little over 20,000, probably sounds about right, because we did the pre-launch, and I was going to cut it off at 10 people, and so many people joined up in the first hour. I couldn't shut it down, and so over the course of 3-4 hours, 18 people had joined, and then I finally removed the sales page altogether. I had to remove the sales page, the form part from the funnel, because people kept finding it and buying it, and I'm like, I'm supposed to shut this thing down. This is anyway. So that was at 250. So we had 18 people at 250. Then the rest of the, I guess, kind of pre-launch was at 400, and I had that jumped it up to 50 people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've never really actually run the numbers, Octavia, but I think it's over 20,000. And then 11 more people joined up just recently, because I just actually put it out there to everybody, because everything else was just for my email list. So now it's gone out to everybody, and people have been joining up at the full price, which is $497. So yeah, whatever those totals add to, it's been nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been good, some good extra income. I guess you were saying it was cool as well. You went on vacation last week, or was it last week? And then you still had some sales coming through. So
Yeah, I was. It was the 4th of July, and we were traveling and doing some things as a family. My wife and my daughter, and yeah, it was cool because I had, I think, like 5 or 6 sales over the holiday, and I was like, oh, that's another 3,000, and then we was doing some other things, so it was really nice, and then and just meeting the new people coming in, when they come in, and yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah, awesome, man. Absolutely. What was, I guess, to take the story back to when we first met, what was like kind of the main things or main challenges when it came to actually launching something like this? Because you were already monetizing your audience, right? You had, um, I think it was like more like you sold physical products like the printer that you still sell on Instagram right now,
Mhm.
but you wanted to potentially do something more digital. So I guess what was the like main challenges there when it came to that?
Yeah, I had and I still have the physical products that I sell. I had what was like a mini course, which was more like I was using it more as a real low end ticket lead magnet, which is now
Hmm.
part of my workshop. And immediately, like in the transition, I raised the price of that. So I think some of it was limiting beliefs uh, on my part, but a lot of it was just not having everything in a cohesive spot or system that you guys have in place, to where like I was you piece all these things together from different people, and it becomes really confusing. And there's the one thing I've definitely learned is there's just so many moving parts into doing this like efficiently, and not even correctly, because you can do it correctly like many different ways, but to do it like efficiently, you have to, there's like steps in place, and that's what I was missing, because I'm a very eclectic person, and I will be like, let's do this, and then I have like 4 offers, and email sequences all over the place, and so I'm trying to streamline it. It's been really helpful to like just focus on this one thing. Like I wanted to have like 3 communities. Like it's like, no, don't do that. Just like, let's do this. Like do that. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I love starting things, and it's nice. So I've started this, many times, and it's nice to be able to actually have it to where it's like what I've envisioned it to be, and that's kind of what's happened. So
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome, and it's good as well that it's not just like the monetary like value and making money with that, but also like you just seem to like you talk a lot about the people in the community, like it being
oh
cool to actually be able to interact with these people like all over the world and
yeah,
meet different people that have been following you.
yeah, I that's the thing. I absolutely, I've this has been my passion forever, and I absolutely love it. And it's cool that there's people all over the world that still love it too, and they want to learn more. And because I've done, photography is such a big niche, right? Like general. And I've done lighting workshops, and I've taught people digital photography and all that, but I never wanted, like when I was doing it, it was never that fulfilling. It was like, yeah, I can do this, and there's a bigger audience, but I'm like, what I love doing is this. And that's that, I talked about just, limiting beliefs. It was like, is there a market for such a tight niche that was dying and now is kind of growing in a weird way?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because it's
Mhm.
like, I don't want to be involved in something that's going away, but this seems to be growing, and it was old. So it was really like, okay, is this possible? And I kept, people would ask me, to help them. And it's like, okay, but is there a big enough audience? And it's like, now after, it was kind of like when I was selling that physical product, it was like proof of concept. It's like, well, a lot of people are buying this thing, so there's a lot of people doing it. And then my YouTube channel's growing. And then, through you guys helping me, it's grown more. And now I know that like a lot of people are interested, and people come in and they're just grateful that community exists, because nothing else exists like it. So it's like, okay, clearly onto something, and I want to see where it grows. And it seems to be pretty, yeah, I'm super passionate about it. The community is amazing. Like, and
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to keep going in that direction.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome, man. And with that being said, then you spoke about like now seeing where it grows. Like, well, what's the plan then? I guess for next kind of like it's what we were discussing a little bit before the call right now. But like,
Mhm.
what's kind of the plan next kind of 6 months to year to transition this into? Like, where do you kind of see it going?
Well, right now, like I said, I want it's going into evergreen, right
Mhm.
now. And, like what I just told you was my goal is like 10K a month, like by the end of the year. If that can go consistently, like we're already planning like meetups and workshops. And where I went on vacation, like it's the most beautiful spot. And like people, there's a gentleman in London. He's like, when are you doing it in person? Like and some of these people in the community are older people that got back into doing what they used to love doing, and now they have the time and the money to do it, and they would fly here like next week. And I'm like, I just don't have the space or the time at
Mhm.
the moment to do that. But that's kind of like a little bit longer term, but short term is just to get that consistently evergreen where it's bringing in that cash flow to where I can build it out bigger, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess last question here then, when in terms of, because you were pretty, I guess people when they want to monetize their audience, they have like different opinions, right? Some people are a little bit scared of doing it. Some people, like what it seems to be with yourself is like you are a little bit more confident, right? Like, okay, like we can kind of go for it, right? There weren't a lot of limiting beliefs around actually going ahead and launching. You just wanted to do it in the right way. I guess what would you say to someone who maybe is having some doubts about actually going ahead and monetizing their audience, like working with someone like us, or like getting that more advanced help to be able to do that after having gone through that process of doing it yourself with your audience?
Well, myself, I've been in business for myself for a long time, so I know the mindset of like you have to place value on yourself and you have to know like what your value is. And just from what I have to offer, I was confident that I'd be able to teach someone, what I was doing,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
then with the channel and having a lot of interest, I was pretty confident that it would work out. It was just the steps in place, and that's what you
Mhm.
provided. It was like I could spend another 5 years trying to put the pieces together, but it's like you have this roadmap. So
Mhm.
like this makes no sense for me to keep, you know what I mean? Like and
Right.
it's just a matter of that, like, sometimes you need to make that investment in yourself to save yourself the time, right? Like
Yeah.
and I knew that was the case, and I was trying, and I have done it in the past, and I've bought in courses and I've bought in this, but they've never been super complete or as helpful, not helpful, just when I need something, I can find the answers. You
Right.
know what I mean? When I'm not sure what to do, I can ask you and you tell me, okay, do this, or in
Yeah.
and it's laid out pretty well too. And with Harris too, like,
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if that answers the question correctly.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the roadmap, right? You had like all the ingredients. It was just like the roadmap to then now be able to implement it as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
think I think it's important. I had the vision for it because people
Mhm.
because people in my life, in people that would reach out, like it was like they were kind of asking for these things. And I was like, okay, well, I want to do this thing. And I had a pretty good vision of what it would look like. And then it was just a matter of, writing it out and then, going through, it's work, it's work. There's a lot of things to do, but like, if it's something that you love doing, like the steps are there, like you just
Yeah.
need to, and that's what I need. I need to do this, do this, do this, do this. Cause otherwise I'm doing everything else.
Yeah. 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 No, it's like that direction and focus. A lot of the stuff, like when working together, is just like, okay, let's not do like 90% of that. Let's just do the
Yeah.
10% that's gonna make a difference.
Yeah, because I
So
want to
yeah.
consistently do the 90% because it just, it's what is that, like staying busy is not like being
Yeah.
productive. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, man. Cool. Any final thoughts you'd like to share?
Just that it's been awesome. Like it's been yeah, since we initially got into the program, it's been good. Like that you've always been there when I've reached out. You've met with me many, many times. So no, I'm super happy with everything on how it's going, and the fact that even after doing a launch that by all metrics, especially in my niche, is super successful, to me it's still like, okay, what's next, and like to have someone there that be like, no, like your numbers are good, like let's do this, let's do that, because I think people in general, like I just catastrophize, and if someone doesn't, or catastrophize, is that a word? If someone doesn't buy for like an hour, I start freaking out, and it's like, no, it's okay. Like, so so moving forward, having more direction and more clarity is super helpful. Like, it's super awesome to have.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's been a good journey, and we're still going. Like you said, like now it's time to transition over to Evergreen and keep scaling. So awesome. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm here with Mark, commonly known as Mendit Mark, and he runs an electronic repair YouTube channel. And today we will be asking him a couple questions about our work together. So, Mark, would you like to introduce yourself and tell everyone here a little bit more about who you are?
Right, I've been doing electronic repairs for well over 10 years as a hobby, and a few years ago I was convinced to make a YouTube channel out of it, and it's gone quite well. Made reasonable growth in the first 2.5 years, getting to a point where it's starting to make some good money, and I've been looking for the way to get to the next level. I'm approaching the magic 100,000 subscribers, which is a great milestone, but it doesn't make you rich, and that's the problem.
Got it. Okay. All right. And so how long have you been working with us at Creator Monetize?
That's a good question. To my mind, I think we first got in touch in April, so I think we're about 6 months in, are we?
Believe so. Around there, probably. Yeah. Setup took a while, but
yeah. I think from first contact, from first email contact, it was in April, and I think it's approaching 5 or 6 months now.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. And give us a bit of your story before joining. Like, where were you at before working with us?
Right. Before working with you, I had a full-time day job, which is a well-paid managerial position. The electronics was a sideline, a bit of a side hustle and a hobby. Laid on top of that, making the videos. So I was very, very busy. So that was where I was before. Yearning to make the leap to get rid of the well-paid day job. But obviously, that's not something you give up, sort of trivially. So you need something to replace that income. So, yeah, wanting a lot, but not quite getting there. That was where I was.
Okay. All right. And on that note, what type of results have you gotten since joining?
Since signing up, in the first 31 days of sort of action with these guys, we turned over just about $20,000, which is insane. I've always done quite well with the YouTube's AdSense income, been pretty stable, but nothing like that. It's a game changer, really is.
Awesome, yeah. And you also ended up deciding to go full time in on YouTube and quit the day job, right?
Yes, absolutely. With that sort of level of income coming in so quickly, it gave me the confidence to actually make the leap. Truth be told, I was probably already making just enough to get by with the AdSense. It wouldn't be as comfortable a life, but it could make it. But that boost of income really gave me the confidence to sort of pull my finger out, stop working for people, and be the master of my own destiny. And it's all because of these guys.
Awesome. That's really cool. And kind of before you were working with us, like what were kind of the main challenges you faced in having to, go about and make that happen?
Yeah, the challenges of before Creator Monetize got involved, one of the problems was trying to manage your own existence as a YouTube business. So your direct money is AdSense revenue from making good content. Then you also get the emails. You get bombarded by loads of Chinese suppliers wanting you to do reviews. They don't want to pay you, they just want to give you some cheap rubbish to review, and the idea that you'll get 10% of whatever they sell, and there's links, or you get asked to do sponsorship, like loads of VPNs and all sorts of weird things. But the trouble is, it doesn't resonate with your audience, and you just know, truthfully, that your audience will see straight through it. So I didn't really want to be sponsored. And I've also heard nightmares of sponsorship deals where they really control the narrative. So yeah, they'll sign up and they never tell you how much they'll pay you either. They always ask to leave it to you to name your price. So you always undersell yourself, which is another problem as a content creator. You just never know your true worth. So I found myself being tempted with lots of sponsorship opportunities, being put right off them, hearing horror stories about how they dictate that in the first 60 seconds they want you to start talking about their product for a good 3 minutes long. And you think, when you're editing your video, you know yourself, the first 2 minutes you have to be really polished. That's when you've got to get your audience. And the last thing you want is trying to ram somebody else's message down your audience's throat. It's how you're going to lose them. So yeah, without direction and helpless is you need help, guys. You really do.
Awesome. Yeah. And so based on your results so far, where do you see yourself in the next 6 to 12 months?
Well, because of this, it's enabled me to advance with some life dreams, really. I'm of an age where, we've been able to clear our, large lifelong debts off. The mortgage has recently been cleared off. It's enabled us to get onto phase 2. So this is where, in the next 12 months, we are going to be putting our house on the market. We're going to sell up, and we're going to move into the countryside and live in the dream. And without the need of, having to do a 9-to-5 day job to fund it. So, life doesn't get better than that.
Absolutely. Really, really cool. All right. And so last question before we end it, Mark, if someone's kind of on the fence about working with us, what would you tell them?
Well, a bit of a moral to the story here. Working with these guys, obviously they're coming up with ideas that you won't think of. These guys, they're very confident. They tell you things about your audience, which you find yourself be quite reserved and a bit shy about yourself, and they really do sort of push you out of your comfort zone. And I say it's like, this is good medicine. The reason you're not successful now is because you're sitting in your comfort zone. Let these guys push you out. They do it very well. They tease you out of your comfort zone, and then you find then the money comes in, and in a good way, without destroying your channel. So there's no downside really. But, there's a little work to do. They do give you some work to do. And another thing is, you need a list of things to do in life. Otherwise, you'll sit around watching Netflix.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Before we wrap it up, Mark, any final thoughts you'd like to tell the viewers?
I think I've covered most of what I think already. But yeah, on a personal level, the guys are great to deal with. They're fun, energetic. They have some great ideas. They have a way of working that, for someone my age, they work in sprints, I've noticed, which I've heard in the IT world, but to me, it's not something I deal with so much. But what it does mean, you sort of get a break for a while, and then they want your attention, and it can be a bit intense. But like I say, it's for your own good. Trust them.
Awesome. All right, that's it then. Thank you very much for your time, Mark. And yeah.
Okay. I'll get back to editing videos now.
All right, what's up, everyone? I'm here with Stephen Park. He runs the channel JSpark, which is basically his personal brand, where he teaches students all about productivity, how to study better, and general self-improvement. So, Stephen, do you want to tell everyone briefly a little bit about who you are?
Yeah, so as Tavio said, I'm Stephen and I run the channel JSpark, and I basically started it just to improve like kind of my speaking skills and also just as a kind of an extracurricular. And I guess that theme kind of carried on because I wanted to help students become the best like students they can be, like get top grades. And so, yeah, I'm continuing to like kind of follow my own student journey and like giving the lessons I learned along the way.
Awesome. And how long have you been working with us now?
I think it's been like 4 months now.
Awesome. And you spoke a bit about your story. Like, give us a bit about your story before you started working with us, before joining. What did that look like?
I mean, it was pretty much the same. I just didn't have a physical product. I mean, yeah, I just didn't have a product I was selling, so I wasn't really monetizing my audience, and it was just my only source of income, if you put it like that, was YouTube AdSense.
Okay, got it. And was it something you were thinking about doing?
Yeah. I'd seen like kind of I'd always had the kind of belief that I had to like build up a certain like not sizable audience before I can monetize like my audience properly. So I guess like right around the time that you guys reached out to me was the point that I was like starting to think about options to monetize.
Awesome. Yeah. And what type of results have you gotten since joining? Like, how was that launch?
Well, 30 days, like in the first month after launching, I think we got like it was like $9,000 to $10,000. And yeah, that was pretty cool to see since that was like the first money I made online.
Awesome, man. Yeah. What was kind of your main challenges that you faced before joining and working with us?
Well, in terms of monetizing, as I said, I hadn't really attempted to do so before, but I feel like if I had tried, I feel like finding like a marketable kind of niche, because even though like I make videos for students, that's still a really broad niche. So I feel like packaging that into an offer and like something that solves a pain point would have been something I struggled with. But I feel like you guys made that kind of easy.
Awesome. And then based on your results so far, like what's your plans? Where do you see yourself in the next like 6 to 12 months?
Hmm. Uh, I mean, yeah, I mean, I hope that we can continue and go beyond the results of the first month, and um, Otavio promised me that this is not just going to be like a pump and dump, and it would just kind of be like a long-term partnership. So I'm excited to see what him and his team have for me in store to take my channel and also my profits to the next level.
Awesome. All right. And last question before we end it, Steven, if someone's kind of on the fence about going ahead and monetizing their audience or working with us, what would you kind of tell them?
For people that are on the fence about monetizing, I do feel to be like transparent that when you do monetize, you are sacrificing like your reputation of some sorts. But I feel like if you do it right and you make sure that you work with the correct people and you're you make sure that you put your audiences, like your audience well, I feel like it can be successful and you can balance the kind of your integrity but also like monetizing, and then like your audience like starts to be okay with that, like they adapt.
Awesome. Any final thoughts before we end it?
No, that will be all.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your time, Steven. Appreciate it.
No worries.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am here today with Dr. Lyman Montgomery, who will now tell us a little bit more about himself. So, Dr. Lyman Montgomery, would you like to tell us a little bit about who you are, what business you run, your channel?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here. Man, I tell you, this has been an awesome experience. As you said, I'm Dr. Lyman Montgomery, founder and co-creator of Focus Driven Compliance Advisors. where we work primarily with home healthcare agencies to help them scale to the top. And, I've sort of dabbled in social media. I thought I'm 57, so I thought it was a young person's game. But I realized that I needed coaching. I needed some help. I went to YouTube University and I flunked out. I tried Googling. I even hired some so-called social media gurus. And I tell you, man, I probably spent thousands of dollars in just being frustrated, trying to figure it out on my own. And I had to follow my own advice. And that is, listen, the best thing you can do is get out of your own way and hire people that know what they're doing. And I'm telling you, I think I've been with you guys, maybe going on 2 weeks, but definitely less than 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, depending on when this airs. But one of the things that was a game changer was understanding the need for coaching and accessibility. What do I mean by coaching and accessibility? A lot of programs you join, they give you videos, but you don't have access to the coach. I mean, you guys you're providing like actual coaching where you can actually get on a call and you listen, you answer questions. That's unheard of in today's market. And maybe the second call, the light bulb went off. And one of the things that was a major game changer for me is that I would post, let's say on Instagram, and I probably on a good day would get 3 likes and maybe 2 comments. And one of those comments was from my mama. If you look at my Instagram today at focus-driven_coach, it is literally on fire in the last week or so. You told me to make some changes. I made those changes. And now I'm averaging not 2 or 3 likes, but thousands of likes, 15, 20, 30, 100 comments on each post. Why? Because you gave me a system and the system works. Matter of fact, it works too damn good. I mean, I got to turn my darn phone off because all I'm hearing ding, 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 ding. And I don't know how to cut the notifications off. It works too well. But all kidding aside, man, you guys, I'm telling you, if anyone is on the fence, if any of you are on the fence and you're like, you know what, I'm going to do it myself, I'm going to figure it out, I'm going to take my glasses off. I want you to see my eyes. Stop it. Hire these guys. Become part of the community. That's the second thing I think that was most different is that everybody supports everybody. No one's hating. I mean, you post something and people comment. It's like a family, a true family. And I'm so glad to be a part of it. I'm telling you, go to my Instagram, focus-driven_coach, and you can see it is blowing up. It is on fire. It is going crazy. Matter of fact, I got to cut the damn notifications off because I can't get no sleep. That's how good it works. Man.
Doctor, thank you for those words. It makes it seem almost like we're paying you to do this.
No, I'm not being paid. I'm paying you guys.
That's the crazy part. No, I really appreciate those words, man. I really do. It has been amazing to see the results you've gotten. And I have to give a big shout out to yourself as well, because you implemented, right? It's one thing to have the knowledge, to have the coaching, but you actually went ahead and so a big kudos to yourself for doing that, implementing fast and actually like putting in the work. So well done.
And it doesn't take long. Listen, here's the other thing. I have literally invested over $100,000 in professional development over the years. Okay. And I've learned something from each and every one of them. I'm an international speaker and author. Okay. This internet stuff, that was for my sons. They're 20 something, but I realized something. The way that you break it down, the way that Houston breaks it down, it is, listen, I'm 57, almost 60 years old. And I'm telling you, if I can do it, anyone can do it. That's just how simple it is to follow the blueprint. Follow the roadmap. You know what? You guys are like GPS. All you do is put in where you want to go and sit back and steer because you've laid out the roadmap for us. And that's the part that's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I mean, all the tools. I mean, it's just amazing how to do your videos, the structure of it. I mean, who does this? The setup, the stress points, the pain point, making sure that you have a call to action, understanding when you look at your analytics, you got a good hook in there, right? Then you want to make sure pain point number 2 that leads to a payoff, and that payoff leads to another pain point, and then a damn call to action that causes people that want to stay. That's crazy, man. Oh my goodness.
No, really, really awesome stuff, man. Congrats on that. And there's a lot of growth to come, I think, still. So that's the cool part.
I'm just getting started.
On that note, Doctor, tell us, where were you before? Like, what was kind of your story before joining? Where were you kind of at in terms of the content side of things?
Like I said, man, before, I would post periodically. I had 16,000. Took me literally 12 years to get 16,000 people to follow me. My posts were getting literally nothing. Maybe 2 or 3 likes. I hardly ever got any type of comments. And if you go there now, I mean, you can see, man, it's just blowing up with people liking, comment. And that's the other thing. A lot of times people will like, but I'm actually getting people commenting on the content that I'm putting out there. And I'm getting better at it. I'm getting much better at it. I'm understanding how to look at the analytics. And so before then, man, I was just like throwing spaghetti up against the wall, hoping something would stick. I had no clue what worked, what didn't work. The same with my YouTube channel. I was all over the place. It had no direction. I was posting stuff about focus, distractions, and it was just a hodgepodge. So when a person went to my YouTube channel, they didn't know what they were looking at. It's like, well, I don't know quite what he does. He's talking about this, but then he posting that. And so basically getting clarity and having some direction. I didn't have any direction. Like I said, man, I was just throwing things up against the wall, hoping something would stick. To me, virality of videos was one of those things where it was almost like luck. It's like, well, someone put a stupid video and went viral. Oh, well, they just got lucky. But I couldn't understand how people were able to do it systematically. And it went back to having a great structure, a great foundation. And yes, I'm an implementer. One thing about me, I'm not lazy. If you tell me to do something, I am going to do it. And I'm competitive, maybe a little too competitive, but I want to win and I want others to win. The other thing that I would say that was different, man, is I felt like for a long time, I've been successful in business, successful in speaking, successful in writing, but those are all individual feats, right? Speaking is just you on the stage. Writing is your thoughts, your ideas, your concept transcribed on the paper. But when it comes to social media, it's not about you. And so the biggest lesson I learned, Lyman, get out the way. Just get out the way, man. That's probably the biggest lesson that anyone can learn. Get out of your own way. Matter of fact, I'm working on a podcast right now that says, stop tripping before you fall. Because a lot of times we just trip over ourselves and we wonder why we fail. Because we keep tripping. Stop tripping Stop falling. Get the mentors. I highly support what they're doing. I'm not paid for this. Like I said, I'm paying them. And matter of fact, don't tell them this. They probably need to go up on their pricing. But anyhow, I feel I'm telling you, man, the amount of value that I've received in just 2 weeks, oh my God, has been life altering, life changing. I didn't even talk about the webinar. You guys gave me the structure for the webinar. We posted the sign up 3 days ago. We already got 20 people signed up for it. It's crazy. I would have a webinar before, maybe 5 people. Again, throwing spaghetti up against the wall, hoping something stick. Now I have a structure. Now I have a system.
Awesome stuff, man. Yeah, I'm excited to see how that webinar goes, actually.
Yes.
Okay, so based on all this, where do you see yourself, like, based on your results so far, where do you see yourself in the next kind of 6 to 12 months? And actually, before we dive into that, I don't know if we've actually so far actually diving into like what have been your results? What's kind of the change there so far in the views and the content side of things and what that
Yeah. Let's just go. I just tell you right now. I posted a video. Whoops. I posted a video yesterday. I'm looking at the analytics. 5,004 views. This was posted yesterday. 3,001 likes. 1 comment. That was for yesterday's. The 2 days ago, I posted one. That one is at 6,700 views, over 3,000 likes. Earlier last week, I posted one. This was actually me. And it was just a simple, short 3K likes, 5 comments, 4,800. The first one that I did, which was amazing. I talked about this one. This one here, man, was just crazy. 24,000 views, 144 comments, 3,500 likes. And this one was posted October 27th. And it's a short video, 1 minute, 11 seconds. And when you look at the watch time, people are actually watching the whole thing. They're not just watching 2 or 3 seconds, and they're commenting on it. Like I said, if you go, just go to my YouTube. And not YouTube, you go to my IG and you look at some of the older stuff, man, that I had posted. It's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. I'm looking at one that I posted, man. It has, I'm just laughing here. It had like two views. 2 views. Just crazy stuff, man. And it's been a game changer. It's just been a game changer.
That's a huge difference. It's actually a huge difference.
The subscribers have gone up from 16,000. Took me literally 8 years to get 16,000. In 2 weeks, I'm up to I don't know if you can see this. Almost 50,000, 49,100.
That's amazing. That's actually crazy.
It's crazy. Listen, I'm a talker and I'm damn speechless because it's like, this is working too well. So where do I see myself a month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now? Oh man, I seriously believe that my YouTube channel, which right now has about 11,000 subscribers, I'm getting more views than ever. And, they're averaging around 1,000 plus views each, 1,000 to 3,000 views. That never happened before. I think, man, we'll probably hit 30,000 subscriber in the next couple of months. I think my if this keeps working the way it's working, I think IG will probably hit 100,000. That's crazy. 100,000. That's a mess. That's insane. I'm laughing because if you had told me that I would have an Instagram account that would be close to 100,000 followers, I would say, yeah, give me some of that you're smoking or drinking. All right. And again, it's just understanding what's working, what's not working, fixing those things that are not working, mapping out the things that you want, and being very intentional about it. So I would say 6 months from now, man, I hope to be, I take that back, not hope. I know I will be at 100,000 on Instagram, 40,000 on YouTube. I didn't even talk about Facebook, which is crazy, man. I started a Facebook community. We had 3 members in the last 2 weeks. We're up to 134.
Wow.
That's engaged.
Yeah.
And the other, and that's from, I didn't know this strategy of posting something on Facebook, but also chopping it down into shorts and putting that also, in different platforms. So it's just a whole lot that I've learned, got a whole lot more to learn. And so I think, man, on the revenue side, I think there's probably going to be another income stream as well. Likes are nice. People, adding emojis to your stuff. But at the end of the day, we are in business, right? And so I believe that this will turn into clients. That's the long-term game. I think a year from now, I'll be calling you, man, from Monte Carlo somewhere, saying, hey, man, let's fly out to Malta or somewhere on my dime, just to say thank you, man. Because
I'd love that.
it's working so well, man. It's working so well. And this has just been insane in 2 weeks. I mean, literally insane. And so it's amazing, man.
Awesome stuff, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate
totally
I
awesome.
appreciate
And you guys are you're the real deal. You're the real deal. You're successful in your own right. You're very humbled, man. You don't have that air of celebrityism saying, hey, I'm unreachable. No, you guys are actually on the calls. You're doing the calls and you're patient. You're answering every question, man. That's insane. And you're doing 2, 3, 4 calls a week. I'm like, when do these guys sleep? But they're young, they're young, wait till you get up in age. But anyhow, it's been great, man. It's been great.
Awesome. I really appreciate you going in detail and sharing all that. I guess last couple questions here before we do end it. Dr. Montgomery, if someone's on the fence about working with us, you've said a lot already, I guess.
Yeah.
What would you tell them, I guess, to someone if you're looking at them and you had to tell them something?
This is what I would say to you. All jokes aside. You've tried over and over again. You're not getting the results that you want. Now, I'm not saying this, but I'm quoting what Einstein said. If you keep doing the same things over and over again, expecting a different result, that, my friend, is the very essence of insanity. So let's stop the insanity. Let's stop the madness. Get focused. Contact these guys. They will take not just your social media, but they will give you the confidence based on their competence. Let me say that again. They will give you the confidence based on their competence to give you a roadmap, to take you by the hand, to guide you through the murky waters, help you avoid the landmines, the pitfalls, so that you can get from point A, where you're currently at, to point B, where you want to go. Listen, there's only 2 decisions you need to make right now. Decision number 1, to stay where you're at and do absolutely nothing and hope and pray that things will change. I don't think that'll work for you. Option number 2, do something about it. Make the phone call, answer the ad, reach out to them. It will change your life, but more importantly, it will change your family. It will give you the confidence and the competence to do the things that you were put on this earth to do. Because I believe all of us have been given gifts, talents, abilities. You know, Les Brown said, the greatest and most tragic place on planet Earth is the graveyard. Because in that graveyard, you will find unfulfilled dreams, unrealized potential that died on the inside of them. Don't let that be your story. I'm telling you now, you can do something about your situation, but you can't do it alone. And I make this promise to you. When you join the community, you got me. You know, I comment on everybody. So they'll tell you, I am a cheerleader. That's how much I believe in them, is that I want them to succeed. Yes, I want to succeed and I will succeed, but I want to help others to succeed. And that's what being part of a family is about, that all of us help each other cross the finish line. So if you're on the fence, don't stay on the fence. Get off the fence. What are you waiting for? Reach out to them. Do the things. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, you may stumble and fall, but that's okay. They're there to pick you up so that you can get to the other side. That's what I would say to them.
Wow. Thank you. That was that was an inspirational one there. I appreciate those words. I really do appreciate your detail and your answers and all that. I think it'll help a lot of people. And I'm very
Yes,
excited to see what we can do as we go, because as you said, it's
absolutely,
only been a couple
absolutely,
weeks. So,
absolutely.
all right. Any other final thoughts you'd like to share before we wrap it up?
I just think that the last thing that I will say, man, is this: is I don't know what got in y'all's brain that y'all would build a community that would help so many people. But whatever that inspiration was, I'm glad that you heeded the call. Because you're a young guy. You guys could be like, hey, I'm going to play video games or something. But the mere fact that you made a decision to help others, man, that speaks volumes of your character, of your integrity. You don't see that in a lot of young folks. You know, a lot of times, man, we give up on, Gen Xers, and we say, oh man, all they want to do is, play video games and live in their mama's basements. But to see you two out there, man, killing the game, millions of views, but still have a heart to want to help people, I salute you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, doctor. Really appreciate you putting in the work and showing that it does work, putting in that work, because it does require that,
Absolutely.
again, I will say. So excited to see what we can do, and
Yes.
continuing to work and build. But I think
Yes.
we'll wrap it up there. Really appreciate your time, doctor. And yeah, let's continue to work.
Absolutely. Until next time, stay focused, my friend.
All right. Thank you. All right. Okay. Let's get started. So, what's up, everyone? I've got Brandon McGuire here. He runs a YouTube channel, basically, where he provides commentary on kind of cultural conversations from, a Christian perspective. And so, Brandon, if you'd like to tell everyone here a little bit more, about who you are.
Yeah, it's the channel's called Daily Dose of Wisdom, and I'll basically just play clips from everything from the Joe Rogan Experience to maybe Russell Brand, different podcast clips. I'll bring in some lectures, some old vintage YouTube videos, stuff like that, and just try to string together a commentary that's from a Christian perspective, basically. And so it's a little bit of reaction video, and then there's also a podcast component to it as well, where I'll kind of talk to some of the experts who I feature in some of the reaction videos as well.
Awesome. All right. And so how long has it been now that you've been working with us?
I think it's been about 3 months, I would say, somewhere around there, 90 days.
Awesome. Okay. And can you give us a bit about like your story before joining? Like where were you at before working with us?
Yeah, so I think that every creator, at least those who I've talked with, at some point, you start to wonder, like, I've got this audience now of people who are interested in a particular topic, and you kind of start to wonder, how else can you connect with them? What else can you offer them? What can you basically do to add more value to them? If they like what's happening on YouTube, if they like the content on YouTube, what else can you give them? How else can you add value to them? At least that was my question. And then as I started sort of flushing that out, I realized, oh, geez, this is going to entail a website. This is going to entail like technology pieces and logistics and bringing in, other people to kind of build something that will facilitate that community and that conversation that I want to be able to have with the audience in a deeper manner. And so then once I kind of defined the shape of, what is the thing that I want to offer them going to look like, then I realized, wow, now I have no idea how to connect them to this place, or how to build this place, or how to message this connection that I'm trying to foster, basically.
Awesome. Okay. And what type of results have you gotten since we now launched about a month ago?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess that's true. The launch was like 2 months ago, I think, but we had been working, in like pre-launch, we had been working together for at least a month, if not maybe a little bit over a month before that, just getting everything dialed in. But right now there's, I think, 200 plus members inside of the community. And there's 2 different price tiers, and people are actually pretty happy with, the community experience that they're getting. We're doing, a weekly meeting as a community, and then we're also doing a book club where they're getting to like talk to the experts and stuff like that. And so, currently it's, like I said, about 2 months into being live, I think, and sitting at about 200 members, and they seem to be pleased for the most part so far.
Awesome. Okay. And if you're comfortable sharing, so often when people want to do something like this, they're like, okay, how much am I, going to get in return on my time? Are you comfortable sharing your numbers for the first kind of month of launch, what you did? I know it's you've got some monthly recurring, some people pay up front, and then you have that lump sum that you got kind of when you first launched for that month, and then you've also got some people that pay recurring. Like, are you comfortable sharing those numbers?
Yeah. I think the first month was just over $8,000, and about half of that was the annual payers. So there's like a big spike up there, and then now it's about so about half of that, about 4,000 a month in recurring, which is great because at least with what I'm doing, it's probably not the most business savvy, but there are different costs and logistics and people that I'm bringing in and like expenses and stuff like that. So to be able to kind of like launch it, and in the first 90 days to actually be up and running with something that is stable and can cover, all of the expenses, and even allow for a hire or something for someone to manage it, is actually really cool, because now I'm looking at it and I'm thinking it's basically something that just needs to be scaled at this point. Like, it needs to be marketed and more people invited, but the nuts and bolts of it are in place and people like it. So now I think it's just a matter of kind of turning up the volume.
Awesome. Okay. And what were kind of the main challenges you faced before we worked together?
I think just lack of knowledge about how to put together a community for the audience in a way that they would like, that would actually address what their needs are, and that would be communicated to them in a way that would make sense based on the particulars of my audience. So each of those things, I wasn't sure the right way to go about. What do they actually want? How do I actually create it? And how do I message this to them in a way that they will like and that they'll see the value in, and that will justify the fact that it has a price tag associated with it, so that they're actually interested in becoming a part of the community. Each one of those things I had reservation around. And so, partnering with you guys, where that's kind of your specialty in terms of creating the funnel, building the community, and then helping with how do you talk about this in a way that helps people understand the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into it, and also where they can understand that they're supporting you, and they can also understand the value that they're getting out of the community itself.
Awesome. Yeah, that's very true. And so, like, based on the results so far, where do you see yourself in the next 6 to 12 months? What are the plans there?
I think I'm just going to keep talking about it on the YouTube channel, 1 out of every 3 videos or so, just kind of keep just casually, constantly, and in different ways, like talking about, hey, this is a thing that we're doing, join us. One cool feature with my community is that because we have these sort of guest experts coming in each month, it allows me to sort of make an announcement, make a slightly different offering without it feeling like you're just beating a dead horse and talking about join. You can kind of say, hey, we have a new book, new author coming in, new expert coming in. And so I'm planning on just as each month unfolds, just sort of talking about what's coming down the pipeline, what people who are in the community are experiencing, what we're all looking forward to, what I like about it personally, et cetera. And just basically like continuing to talk about what is going on within the community, and just expecting to see that steady growth, which right now it's still happening. Right now it's actually been encouraging, because it's not just a huge spike on the front end. I've realized that basically every video that you talk about it, you get a little bit of boost in terms of signups. So it seems that I remember, what's his name? What's the guy's name? Alex Hormozy talking about that if you say something to your audience in one video, you're probably only talking to like 5% of your audience. And I think that is definitely proving to be true. So it's sort of like my plan is just to kind of keep ringing the bell, telling people this is available, and see in terms of numbers, where does that take things within the next year.
Awesome. All right. Last question here, like before we end it, Brandon, like if someone's kind of on the fence about going ahead and monetizing their audience or working with us, like what would you tell them?
I would say if you are a creator that has an audience and you don't really know how else to add value to them other than just putting out the next piece of content, but you want to connect with them more, you want to be able to offer them something that gives them greater access to the value that they are already finding on your social media, or else why would they be a follower in the first place? But if you want to engage with them in a more intensive and valuable manner, then I think you do need some version of a community, some version of a core group that needs to be created. And then at that point, it's a question of, okay, should I try to DIY and do all of this myself and figure out how to become an expert in a whole other business model? Or should I link arms with a company that basically kind of specializes in helping to connect that audience with a platform where you can connect with them in a more valuable manner? And for me, once I kind of started looking into some of the bells and whistles around building it from scratch, I was like, honestly, I just want to collaborate with somebody who really specializes in this. And then I can focus on what I like to do, which is content creation.
Awesome. All right, then. Before we wrap it up, Brandon, any final thoughts or things you'd like to say?
I don't think so. be careful for Otavio. You know, he can. No, I'm just kidding. I know you can cut that.
Yeah, no worries. All right, that's it then. Cool. Thank you very much, Brandon. And yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate all that you guys do.
Hello, everyone. I'm here today with Nadia Bokadi. She is a sex columnist and educator and has a YouTube channel, TikTok, Instagram, all the social medias. And so, Nadia, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us a bit more about who you are.
So I'm a sex columnist first and foremost. I've been writing a sex column for news.com.au over here in Australia and New York Post over in the States for the last decade now. And several years ago, I branched out into YouTube doing sex education, and I've just really grown my platforms from there.
Awesome. All right. And how long have you been working with us at Create and Monetize?
I think maybe around 3 months now.
Cool. And give us a bit of your story before joining. Like, where were you at before working with us?
Well, my main sort of revenue stream was brand deals. And so I was sort of focusing all of my energy around outreach to brands, just trying to secure more brand deals to be able to have the revenue to keep growing and doing what I'm doing.
Okay. And then what made you want to kind of change?
Well, I decided that it was worth sort of trying something different. I'd obviously been doing just the same kind of business model for the last sort of 6 or 7 years, and I was interested to see if maybe something different could work better for me potentially in terms of just revenue.
Got it. And so, what type of results have you gotten since we now launched probably about a month ago?
I've signed a couple of clients now, coaching clients. So I'm working with one couple that I'm coaching, and one single person that I'm coaching. So yeah, that's been
Awesome.
really exciting and it's definitely something different for me.
What were kind of the main challenges you had like before you were working with us?
I would say just having consistent revenue, it has probably been the biggest issue for me for the last sort of couple of years now.
Got it. All right. And what are your kind of goals for the next 6 or 12 months?
I would just like to get into a position where I have enough revenue coming in that there's more freedom for me to branch out and do different things with my business, and that I'm not so focused on worrying where the next sort of dollar is coming from. I want to have more of that freedom to, I think do what all creators want to do, which is just to actually be able to be more creative.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay. And so before we end it, what would you tell someone who's thinking about was kind of on the fence about working with us or monetizing their audience?
I feel like you don't really have anything to lose by just trying something different, just giving something different a go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Especially if you've just been relying on one sort of revenue model. Um, I also think that more creators are moving away from the standard brand partnership model because a lot of brands are taking that sort of thing in house now. So I think just think outside the box in terms of other ways that you can generate revenue, and this potentially could be something that could work for you.
Awesome. So before we wrap it up, any final thoughts?
Uh, no, that's it.
All right. Perfect. Thank you, Nadia. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right. Welcome, everyone. It's Otavio here from Creative Monetize. I am here today with a very special Vlad. Vlad, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us what your channel name is, and yeah, just a brief little introduction.
So I'm Vlad. I'm a music producer and DJ. I make music under the name of Flexian. I'm coaching people in music production, so basically teaching people how to make house techno music, actually any kind of music, but most of it has to be house music. But yeah, that's, I've been doing that since producing music since 2016, coaching since 2021, and the channel, I have my YouTube channel since 2020, like on and off. I think in total, not counting the breaks, I think I've been doing YouTube for like years or something like that, consistently. Like if I'm counting consistently, yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, and it's actually your story is pretty unique because you've been getting some pretty good wins, and you've actually just been part of the program. I believe it'll come in like a month now, right? Or maybe even a bit less. So
I think it's like 2 weeks maximum.
Yeah,
2 weeks.
yeah. So I guess like to kind of have an idea, like give us a bit of your story before joining. Like where were you at before working with us?
I think I was at the point where I was making videos. I was posting a little bit on like all platforms. I like writing, so I do Threads, which is the Twitter clone, if you're familiar with it. So I was writing. I was just making content, but I was kind of liking the clarity on like what exactly I need to do. And yeah, and you just reached out, came in, and yeah, I was like, okay, let me try this. Let me try this just to see how that goes, just to have some clarity, just to have some confidence if I'm doing the things correctly. So I wouldn't say like I did something extraordinary. I don't know how that works. It's just worked. It's like did a little bit of market research, tweaked the offer, but other than that, I don't know. It just worked. It's like magic.
Yeah.
Like
No, it's funny how small changes will make like a big difference, right? To the outcomes you get. I guess on that note, like what do you think was the main thing that caused you to want to join and get that extra help? Was it like to get that clarity that you mentioned? What was that like?
I think just like understanding if I'm doing things correctly, and because I've been in some kinds of some coaching programs before that, and sometimes like I invested and didn't get a lot from that. Yes, it taught me some skills, but overall like it wasn't good return on investment. Like I signed up like with one guy. He was like, you have to understand your audience and where do they hang out. In my case, for music production, it's YouTube. I don't do Instagram. I don't do anything else as YouTube. And a lot of people I know in the coaching industry, they are like full on Instagram. Like they do Instagram. I hate Instagram. I don't like it at all. And I'm not doing it at all. And you have to understand your audience. And once you do so, once you find the platform, then it's going to be like a lot easier for you to get clients. So like with that guy, I was doing Facebook for music producers. Like it's just weird. I mean, I closed a few clients actually. It was kind of fun, but it was random. With YouTube, at least I can have predictability that I know like with every video that I make, I know that this is a potential client. Because once you get systems around the way that you produce content, once you understand how you produce, what makes you good, then it's just like doubling down on that. And in my case, like all the latest calls that I've been doing, I can see that if you can make good organic content, it does all the selling for you. But you still have to learn sales. Like number one thing is sales. If you think it's going to be like that easy, no. Like I sucked at sales, but at this point, like I don't know how many sales calls I did, maybe 50 or something like that, maybe plus minus. I think plus minus, maybe more. But I did a lot of calls like overall with people. So my communication skills are pretty good. Like I know my audience. I've done a lot of calls. So the main thing is finding the platform, becoming good at content, just becoming extremely good at what you teach. Because if you suck, and if you don't get people results, then no one is going to buy from you. So that's
absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, man. I guess in terms of that, like you mentioned, closing some calls. Tell us a little bit about the results you've gotten already so far. You've been on a hot streak. Yeah. What has that been like?
So I closed like 4 clients in we could say like in 2 weeks, something like that.
That's fire, man. And roughly, what are they paying you like? Roughly, was it 1,500 or 3K.
It's
What
like,
was
yeah,
the ticket price?
it's like it's around like it's around 1 to 2,000, 1 to 2,000 each. So it's like
That's
1,500,
awesome.
1K, depending, because obviously I have to package it properly. If that's going to be 1K, they're gonna get less support from me. But my main package for right now is like 2K, and I'm at the point where I'm probably going to be closing my one-on-ones and just transitioning into the groups, because I don't want to be trading
Yeah.
my time with one-on-ones. Like,
Yeah.
I built some momentum. I work with some clients long term, even up to finishing the coaching. So I can now allow myself to be really picky about, hey, like, you don't have the money, I'm not gonna work with you. So like, you either have the money, you don't work with me. So this is also something to
Yeah.
understand. Like in the beginning, one-on-ones, it's like a really quick way to monetize, and I like it. But after a certain time, I think you should transition to group coaching. And this way, like, you
Yeah.
can still charge like 2-3K. Like for my industry, that's pretty good. I don't know, even some marketing programs are charging like 2-3K.
Yeah.
But actually, it's like a good sweet spot. Regular people can afford this. If you really want, you can afford this. Like if you cannot afford to like invest 2,000, 1,000, 3,000 in your education, dude, get your shit together. Just get your life together, because this is just like this like, it's a shame. It's a shame if you cannot
Yeah.
invest in like in yourself. Like, come on, get your shit together. So it's
Yeah.
like a good,
No,
it's a
absolutely.
good like in financial like pricing points for my offer. But I was selling for 4,000 as well. So it's like my one-on-ones
Yeah.
is like 4K for premium coaching. I might still be doing
Yeah.
that a little bit. Again, depends, but I want to test it out. Like I want to do some testing with group coaching. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's part of what
that's
we'll help you do now, as well as like productize that and be able to get the group coaching. That'll be important for us to work on. I guess, yeah, tell us a little bit more. Then I mean, just before we actually do that, obviously signing these 4 clients these past 2 weeks, that's quite different from my understanding to where you were like even just a couple months ago, right? In terms of like where you were at with the number of clients you would sign regularly. Like there's been quite a difference. I remember you saying there was a point where you were almost gonna finish doing all of this.
I mean, in the last few months, it's been pretty consistent, actually. I was getting like anywhere from 1 to sometimes like 3 clients. Most like it's like at least 2 high ticket clients without like changing a lot of stuff. So yeah, but right now it's like 4. I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. This is cool. And it's just like
Starting
it's
to
the
ramp up.
it's the 9th of November. I still have like quite a bit of time by the end of this month. Maybe it's gonna be more. I'm just gonna keep pushing with the videos, just double down on that and see what happens. Like it sounds like a
Yeah.
good streak.
Absolutely, man. And so where do you see yourself, like on that note, then like over the next 6 to 12 months? Is it making that transition to group coaching and like being able to still maintain a high ticket offer there and really like growing the channel?
No, I'm not gonna transition to low tickets. No way. It's just not efficient. Like
Yeah.
the thing with my industry, maybe it's a limiting belief that I have, but working with so many people, like dozens of producers, like one-on-one, and like probably 100 overall throughout my career, just impacting like, thousands of people with my content. Everything that I've been hearing, courses in music production are helpful, but you still need that one-on-one, or like at least like group communication with a coach. From my experience as well, if I didn't do the coaching myself, like in 2018, I wouldn't be able to I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. So in that sense, yes, I would like to launch a digital product someday, but then it's like it becomes a question. I need more traffic. It's like this
Yeah.
stuff is it's silly simple.
It's
What I
working.
do, it's just working. Like it's silly simple. I don't have the best funnel. I don't have the best marketing skills. I'm not the smartest guy. Like I'm intelligent, I'm smart, but like I'm not the smartest marketer if you compare myself to like all the fancy funnels, email marketing. It's just simple. Hey, this is my stuff. Do you want to buy? And people buy. And I'm like, okay, this works. So nothing that I
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
like. It's again, I think it's just like what you believe in. If you believe you need some like complicated marketing funnel, you like life is gonna prove it to you. In my opinion, like the way that it works for me right now, I'm like, it just works. Like I'm just gonna be making my best videos, and that's it. People come to me, and then I'm just gonna be more picky with the people that I work with right now. So it's like,
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Yeah, it's been awesome to see the results you've gotten, and also like sticking to a model that's simple and works for you, right?
yeah, it's very simple. It's very simple.
On that note, what would you say to someone who's maybe a bit on the fence about, for example, investing in a program like ours or something like that? They're a little bit on the fence about investing in themselves or specifically in our program. What would you, I guess, tell someone in that situation if you could speak to them?
Okay, so I'll give a couple of thoughts. I think So in my life, I spent almost like $20,000 on my business education, maybe a little bit less than that, like in total, right? I like 15K, something like that. I know it's not a lot for like compared to like gurus that you would see, but this is the thing that got me to the point where I'm at, making more money, becoming more confident, living my dream life. Every single program that I invested in, it gave me something, and it gave me some sort of return on investment. So if not that, okay, let me ask you this. What do you value more? Like, do you value your time more, or do you value money? Because realistically, the time is the only resource that you're not going to get back. If you're making like 60, 80, $100 per hour, like investing 2, 3, 5 grand in your education, it's nothing. And people value money more than they value their time. Like, you don't value your life so much that you're like afraid to spend that money, like for real. You're going to be sitting here and like, oh, like I'm hesitating to invest. And then it's like, people don't understand that the cost of not solving the problem is actually way more than spending the money. So it's like, it's just really like about where are you going to be if you continue like this? Because you know that you are doing the strategies, shit doesn't work. You're watching YouTube videos and you keep convincing yourself like, oh, maybe I'm just need to do more. I need to do this. I need to do this. Now, this bullshit. Like, that's bullshit. If you don't commit, if you don't act, you're just not going to get the results. Every time I invested, I was scared as fuck. But I always somehow made it back. It's like life supports you. If you want to have freedom in life, and like you cannot have this employee mindset. Oh, it costs me this. No, like you want to have freedom, you want to have business, get your shit together and just like be responsible for your life. No, like for real. This is like tough love. This is hard talk because I just want to be authentic. But this is what I would like say to anyone. Like if you want to have freedom in life, if you want to build a business, a legacy, then you should do this. Or you can just like you want to be exceptional, do things that no one else is doing. Because like 90%, 95, 99% of people, they are not investing in high ticket coaching. This is why they have like mediocre life. Like at the end of the day, like what do you want from this life? Do you want to live like everyone else? Do you want to just like understanding your priorities, like what you want, where you want to be, what you want to do. So it's gonna be up to you really. Like what's the thing that you want to do with your business? So like again,
Absolutely.
I cannot like tell you what to do. It's your choice. But it's also about, like risking. It's also about risking because if you don't risk, then you don't get like the reward from this. So it's just like,
Absolutely.
what do you want?
Yeah.
And then again,
it isn't easy.
Yeah. And then again, think about what you're gonna learn from this because you learn the skill. Like every time I invested, I learned something. Like let's just imagine tomorrow, like my channel dies or like something happens to social media. I know I have a skill set that I can work for a company, I can produce content, I built the skills. So I don't care, like really. Of course, like most likely YouTube is not going to die because it's like a billion dollar, like $trillion business anyway. But it's just about that. So it's your life, it's your choice. If you want to get further, you either pay to do it 10 times faster or you just figure shit out yourself. And if you don't value your you either have time or you have the money. If you have both, then like, okay, good luck to you. Like you're a winner. Okay. So most of the time it's like time and money. If you have both, then it's cool. So that's just my take on it. Just how I feel.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely,
also
man,
one more thing. How can you expect people to pay you if you're not paying someone else? This is a good one.
Very
This
true.
is a good one. It's like
Be the
if you're
client
not,
you want to have.
yeah, that's the thing. So kind of like this.
No, I appreciate that. That definitely is. It's people need that to get that little push. It's not an easy decision, but it always pays
True.
off. I'm the same with education. All right, Vlad. I appreciate your time. Do you have any other final thoughts for the viewers before we wrap it up?
Not really. I mean, look,
Okay.
if I'll be honest, like really, really honest, because I think like authenticity, I wouldn't not to say that this is impossible. Like I don't want to put you down, but I got these results that I got because I already put so much effort. So you cannot expect like magic to happen. You need to put the time into this. But if you do, then you can expect the results. Like the results that I got, it's the compounding effect of years that I put into my channel. So if you think that like it's gonna be some sort of a magic journey, no. And then you have to be realistic with yourself. Like it's gonna work. Like if you do the systems, like if you do everything like correctly, it's gonna work. But you cannot like expect that somehow like you're going to be a beginner, but probably like you're not a beginner. Like if you're going to be watching this, like you're already like an educational business, like you have some sort of audience. That's a huge plus. So just don't expect magic to happen, but be open to magic to happen. So it's like it's kind of funny. So I'm not saying that this is impossible. This is fully possible. You can get the results, but just consider all the variables that you have in your business. I'm probably like the exception. But
yeah, right. I mean, it's the like compounding effect of being invested in yourself, investing in yourself, putting in the work.
Yeah.
And then you become the exception because you do the exceptional things, right?
Exactly.
Awesome, man.
So yeah, that's
okay. Awesome, Vlad. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
And yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everybody. I am here today with Angelo Calfo. He's currently in Australia. He's American, though. And he is a professional soccer player, actually. And he also is a college recruitment expert. And today, Angelo, I'm going to be speaking to you about your kind of journey with us. So, Angelo, do you want to like tell us a little bit more about who you are?
Of course. Yeah. So thank you, Ottavio. My name is Angelo Calfo, like you mentioned, and born and raised in Seattle, Washington. Grew up, played soccer my whole life, played Division I soccer for 3 years at Gonzaga. And I'm currently in I just finished my second year playing professionally. And then through that time of, making the transition into the professional game, I really wanted to start up a business on my own. And I was always kind of afraid of taking that first step, and worked at several different college recruiting agencies. There's a lot of stuff that I disliked about the way they operated, and eventually was able to get the help from Ottavio and started my own thing with ZTH College, and that's kind of what brings us to here today.
Awesome, man. Give us a bit of your story, I guess, before joining. Like, where were you at before joining?
Yeah, definitely. So in 2023, I signed my first professional contract, and 2 weeks after that, I started working at a college soccer recruiting firm. Leave the name out for now, but I was there from the beginning of that year for about 10 months, and I was really, the director of that program. I was doing sales, and I was really, performing well in that role, but just had a lot of issues with the way some of the students were being treated and some of the ways of the ethics of the actual program, and decided to kind of go my own separate way. Took a quick little break trying to do some real estate stuff in the off season, which turned out to be really difficult to do when you're always on the move. And then from there, I decided I want to try something new, and Ottavio and I started working on ZTH College from there.
Awesome. So, with your personal brand, building that up, like what type of results have you gotten since joining?
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's pretty incredible to see what can be done with having someone that actually knows what they're doing on social media. I've had social media my whole life. I guess since I was a freshman or eighth grader, and I'm now 25. But I never really understood anything about being able to leverage an audience or leverage people that follow you into actually like buying a product. And I had seen people do it. And I had no idea really like what the process was. And it was never even something that crossed my mind. So when we started, I was kind of expecting for it to be a really slow start. People always talk about it's going to take you about a year to kickstart, look 5 years down the line. But that kind of got blown way out of, I was completely blown away with what really ended up transpiring. I was having followers. I thought maybe we were buying followers and I didn't know what was going on, but we ended up reaching 8,000 followers over the span of 2 months working with Ottavio and his team. And not only that, but creating revenue of over $30,000 from a recruiting program that we started from scratch. So that's kind of what I've been able to see now, the power of a personal brand and the power of having somebody that knows how to navigate that space to get the best results out of it.
Awesome, man. Really cool. Really cool. And I guess like what are your plans then for the future? Like where do you see yourself going from here? What do you want to kind of get out of the future with your personal brand? And yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
Definitely. Yeah, it's a tough thing about trying to balance professional sports and your own business is that you kind of have to make decisions based on your priorities, and seeing the growth that I've had from my personal brand. I know it's going to be something that I'm going to continue to develop and continue to seek Ottavio's counsel on. But as of right now, in this moment, I'm going to choose my professional soccer career. There was something that had come up with a visa situation that's kind of forced my hand into having to switch gears and put the personal brand and my own business and entrepreneurship slightly to the side. So I've chosen to put soccer before that. And it was a really tough decision just based on the incredible results that we've already seen. But I know that I'm going to continue to build that and continue that journey once everything kind of smooths out in terms of the soccer stuff.
Yeah, it sucks that it has to happen, but you have the passion for soccer, right? So to keep that both dreams alive, sometimes you got to do stuff like that. But okay, yeah. I guess last question before we kind of end it there, Angelo. If someone's kind of on the fence about working with us at Create and Monetize, like what would you kind of tell them?
Yeah, if somebody was on the fence, I think a lot of people kind of have the paralysis by analysis. You're looking at all the websites and all the reviews, and it looks good stuff, but there must be something wrong. I would just say take the risk, take the chance. You can see I'm sure you're able to see the results that I've had from literally starting from nothing and growing to that extent in 2 months. It's completely unprecedented. I've never seen anything like it. And I think that if you ever want to, have a big success in the personal brand area or even in your business, you have to take risks. And this is a risk that's calculated. You've seen the results, and I've experienced it myself. So I would say just go for it, because Ottavio and his team know how to take brands to the next level.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. And happy we got to work together for that time. Before we wrap it up, any final thoughts, words of wisdom to tell whoever's watching?
No, words of wisdom, just go for it. I have nothing positive but to say about Ottavio and his team at Create or Monetize. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what you and your team do in the future.
Awesome, man. Okay. That's it then. Thank you for your time, Angelo.
Thank you, Ottavio.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dr. Daniel Masaba. We started work back in May, right? Something like that. So what was it that kind of inspired you for this collaboration? Where were you at? If you could just give everyone a better idea of where you were at that point in time and why it was that we decided to collaborate.
Okay, so I was at an interesting point in my life because I do have a YouTube channel where I teach people about poultry farming. Now, over time, I had built up a big audience, and of course, I used to do a lot of in-person consultations and this kind of stuff. But I had always wanted to come up with an online training platform where literally I can teach people virtually without having to move over there. Now, I had come up with a few ideas, and I had wanted to do it for such a long time. I mean, as far back as 2022. But for some reason, I just hadn't figured it out, and I just didn't know how to do it. So at this point, the reason, we had to decide to work together, or the reason I felt it was such a great opportunity, is because I did have the information to offer. I just didn't know how to make it work. And here was a group of people who told me they knew how to make it work. And I was like, well, why not give it a try?
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. And but if you were to like double click on, because of course there's a lot that goes into it, right? So we, I mean, in our case, we created the offer pretty much from scratch. Don't get me started on like all of the troubles that we've had with payment processes and things like that. That was thankfully we've got that behind us now. But out of like all of the, you know, everything that goes into launching your own digital offering to your audience, what would, if you were to specify, what were the main challenges that you think you had faced? Was it, for example, you know, clarity on the offer? Was it how to market it all? What were, if you were to zoom in on something, what were those?
Well, it's I can speak about it in two angles. One in retrospect, and the other one considering what I thought I knew. At that point, I thought I'd figured out a bit of it, and honestly, the main problem I had at that point was how to put the content together in such a way that it would, you know, communicate exactly what I want. That's what I thought was the problem then. But now that we started working together, because at that point, I just needed someone to push me to get it started, which did happen. But now that we started working together, I noticed that number one, I had issues with the offer, the core offer itself. In retrospect, everything I had in mind was completely offside. Yeah, so there was just no way I was going to do it right. The second thing was the marketing, honestly. Or I would say, yeah, I think the marketing, you know, how to put it outside there and how to get people enrolled. Because honestly speaking, it was, you know, quite high ticket. The prices were high. And I didn't know how to, you know, get people to accept to pay these high prices for something like this. A lot of people I was considering talking to, you know, are farmers, and a lot of them wouldn't even consider, you know, putting this amount of money into a program like this, despite the fact that I believed it had a lot of value. So that was a problem I, you know, just didn't know how to solve, you know, how to come around, you know, getting the information outside there and getting people engaged with the content or with the offer itself. So the marketing bit itself, I feel like that's where my hugest gap in terms of knowledge and how to implement it was at that moment. Honestly speaking, like I've told you, I wanted to do this since 2 years ago. I mean, 2022. I'd been telling my audience that, hey guys, I'm bringing the Farm Up Academy up, I'm bringing the Farm Up Academy, and it just wouldn't happen because there's, first of all, way too much to do. And secondly, it's, you can have the broader picture of what you want to do, but the nitty-gritties of how to implement it properly and, you know, get the correct results out of it is really difficult if you're doing it alone. Yeah? So I personally, from my experience, I'm super glad, like really, really glad that there's actually a team to work with and a team of experts. That's why I keep telling you, like, you know, I was blown away by, you know, the small little tiny things, because I mean, I could sit down even right now. I've been sending out emails to people for a really long time, but after working, you know, with you and the team, then I noticed a lot of things that could actually have been improved from my personal, you know, sending out emails and all this kind of stuff. So it's quite amazing. I mean, it was like 2 years that I couldn't start, and then I'm talking to you guys, and in 2 weeks we have something out. Yeah. So that's really great that, you know, that there's a huge, or I would say a team of people who are really good at what they are doing that can, first of all, give you a push, but also, you know, do a lot of the other things that you honestly feel like you could do on your own, but later on you notice that it's really difficult, honestly. It's really difficult. So that was also a very great aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. What were some of those little things that you're referring to? Because I'm honestly clueless what you're speaking.
So, for example, when we started out, you know, I had all these people sending me emails, you know, wanting to do let's consultation with me, and so I had wanted to reach out to them and tell them about the Farm Up Academy. And of course, I had some form of wording that I thought would have worked, but then you, for example, gave me a script that I used. And I sent it out to people, and like I think over like 60 or 70% of the people booked calls simply using an email that I sent out to them. Yeah. And I believe, you know, the way the words were phrased and everything just tickled them the right way to make them feel like, you know, I have to get on this call. So initially I had planned on writing down something, but after interacting with you guys and looking down at the small subtle changes in the wording, I noticed that those made the difference. And so that's why I feel like, you know, these small things that actually do look small actually have such a huge impact.
Yeah, yeah. Especially in this, like I see people underestimate so often across, let's say their funnel overall is especially if you're someone who gets a lot of viewership and has a lot of traffic, like these marginal differences throughout a funnel, they add up for huge business impact, top line, revenue. Because if let's say your overall funnel is converting at a rate of 0.01%, right? So one person out of every 1,000 viewers that comes into contact with your content online ends up being a customer. If you were to make a marginal change and increase that by just another 0.1%, so from 0.1% to 0.2%, yeah, although the change is only marginal, but that's actually a 2x in the business. So it's a 2x in the top line revenue and a 2x in the profit. And these differences, they really do add up, especially if you have a thicker funnel, let's say, a deeper funnel that has more touch points and more steps for people to make across their customer journey. All right, Daniel. And so reflecting on these last couple of months and now looking ahead, how do you feel overall about the future? I'm personally very excited, but what about yourself, Daniel? How do you feel about the future?
100%. I'm really excited, about what we can do going forward. It's quite amazing how much you can learn in such a short time. Of course, it does help that, we've had, quite, I would say quite an amount of traffic that we can utilize to gather and, study the data and analyze the data. And I'm honestly super excited about what we can do in the future. I'm considering the plans I personally had starting out with the online platform and everything like that. With you guys, I've already surpassed them. Honestly speaking, I didn't think that in terms of revenue, I would even be close to this. I knew that it would work out, but I thought it would be much harder. And this is just the start. There's way more that can be done. So I'm quite excited about the future, especially considering all these data gathering points that we've gotten that we can utilize to, brighten our future. So I'm very excited about, working with you guys and, having great positive results.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Daniel. And I just want to say, as we reflect on all of this, you've been utmost pleasure to work with, honestly, in terms of responsiveness, in terms of eagerness to create content. Content creation. Guys, you will not find a more consistent content creator than that, right? There's three certainties in life, right? The sun goes up in the morning, the moon comes out at night. The third one is that Daniel is going to be posting his 3 videos on YouTube every week. And even midway through, we discovered that Daniel had another channel that he'd been posting like 2-3 videos a week on. So in terms of content creation, speed of execution, Daniel, you're an absolute machine, and just overall as on a human level, you're an incredible person, and yeah, I just wanted to make that known to everyone, but most importantly to yourself, that it's been fantastic working together, and I'm really excited for what the future holds.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you.
All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. Bye bye.
Awesome. All right. So hello, everyone. Here today with Jason Creel. He helps lawn care professionals grow their business, and we'll be chatting about his experience and results with Create and Monetize. So, Jason, do you want to kind of introduce yourself a little bit more there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a lawn care guy. I live in Alabama. I've been doing lawn care for 18 years, and then I've been on YouTube for 14 of those years, helping other people learn how to get into the lawn care business and ultimately try to grow their business and be more successful.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I guess when was it that you first started working with us at this point? It's been a couple months, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing 6 weeks or so that I've been signed up with you guys and started working through the course and participating in some of the coaching calls. Right.
Yeah. Awesome, man. So tell us a little bit about like the recent launch that we just had with, obviously you were selling low ticket and now we decided to switch over to high ticket. Tell us a little bit about the results that you got with that launch.
Yeah, I think for me, I've been selling low ticket items for a long time. I think the goal here is either sell a whole lot of low ticket items or maybe less high ticket items. I was doing the worst of I was selling very few low ticket items, which is a bad combination. So I kind of knew where I needed to go, but I didn't exactly know how to get there. So yeah, I mean, I decided to launch a 1-year coaching program for people that have a lawn care business, because I always felt like people that would buy maybe a low ticket course typically wanted more access and more personal care, is just what I was willing to give them that. But you encouraged me, is like, well, you just have to make it worth your while, charge accordingly for the time that you're going to give them. So I did it, and I launched it to my audience, and was able to. I've got 5 signed up so far, so I'm encouraged. Still ironing out some of the wrinkles in it, but it gave me a lot of optimism of what the future can look like. And honestly, too, just even as a creator, it gave me a lot of hope, because I wanted to help real people grow a real business, and I feel like I'm actually able to really help people, versus. Not that the course wasn't helping people, but I'm able to be more involved and see some real results for these people.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And so you were doing low ticket before. Now, what did we charge for the people that came on, those 5?
Yeah, so I'm doing $5,000 for a 1-year mentorship is the goal, and I'm looking at it like, if I sell 1 a month, I'll be doing better than I was selling the low ticket. And I'm hoping to sell more than 1 a month, but. So that was just kind of a easy math problem. I understand that, and it's like we even talked about today. You got to sell a whole lot of low ticket items to equal 1 high ticket item.
Right, exactly. That's what we just went over. Absolutely, and yeah, I mean, 5 and 8 days isn't too bad either when you first launch. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, I can improve in some areas of my sales calls and everything, but I think it works. I'm still improving my funnel and getting those calls, and then obviously the more comfortable I get with the sales call, I think I'll be able to hopefully improve my conversion rate.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you kind of came in a unique situation where it's not like you weren't making money from the channel, or even making money from like monetizing through selling a course. You were. It was just like you were doing it in a low ticket manner. I guess what made you want to change that, or actually be like, no, I want more than this. I don't just want to settle for, making this 30, 40 a year from these low ticket courses. What kind of caused you to want more there, I guess?
Yeah, I think for me, I wouldn't say I was burned out on being a creator, but it was kind of just like doing the same thing every year, and it had kind of plateaued. So I was making some money off of AdSense for videos. I'd make some money off sponsorship, some money off courses. And I was just like, you know what? It pulled me a lot of different directions. I felt like I was average at a lot of different things. So I felt like, if I was able to really put more energy into one sector of it and focus on selling these high ticket coaching programs, I feel like I could surpass what I was selling on all 3 different revenue streams with just doing that. So I think it was giving me something fresh to do, a little bit different perspective, but then ultimately trying to make more money with the amount of time I have to invest in it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And where do you I know we spoke a little bit about this, but where do you where do you see yourself in the next 6, 12 months now then?
Yeah, I mean, I still run a lawn care business about 50% of the time. So half the time I'm out spraying yards myself. And I think that helps me have a little bit more credibility with the clients.
Right.
But ultimately trying to free myself up a little bit. I've got 4 kids and a wife and a lot of things going on in my life. So if I could help real people grow in their own real business, but at the same time, for me to not feel the pressure that I got to just always make another video and another video and another video to make a little bit more money. You know what I'm saying? If I could have targeted videos because I know that. I know I can just make another video every day, and you'll make a little bit more money than you did last year. But that's not exactly a long-term plan, because that'll almost burn out anybody. So I was trying to, be more strategic about it.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you, because I mean, it's still a risk though, right? Starting a new way of monetization, right? I guess what would you tell someone in that position where they're a little bit kind of in a plateau, burned out, or they just are not making the money they want to make, when it's time to actually take that risk and try a different way of monetizing and take that step to try become more of a business with this, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it different ways. Like I know people personally that make a whole lot of money just off the AdSense, but it's uh, certain video styles that will generate that. I don't think that was necessarily me, and that can obviously change very quickly too. The algorithm changes that can, and it's a lot of pressure. You always got to be making more and more content, more and more content. So for me, I think it's actually a slightly safer plan that like you build a coaching platform. It's less pressure for you, our high ticket item, and it's kind of more relying on things that you have a little bit more control over, like possibly your email list or possibly um, business program. It's just less reliant on the algorithm, I guess you'd say. Like your video doesn't necessarily have to just blow it out of the water every single time for you to make the money you want to make. You might have a less successful video per se on by YouTube standards or Instagram, but if it leads you to the right clients, but for me, again, somebody told me this the other day, and I still hold this. I thought it was out. He said, just do the things that you love to do with the people that you love, or things you like to do with the people you love. And I was like, I don't want to go make another Instagram reel right now. I'd rather do a video that I think is actually going to help somebody. And so for me, it was more about like, what do I want to do? And could I at least match my income doing something I would prefer to do? And I think ultimately it'll be much more profitable for me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Like long term, I think it'll be a lot more profitable with less work and less like on that content hamster wheel. I guess you're obviously helping other people to grow their business. Our goal with you when you joined the program was obviously to help you out and be able to do that. I guess what has for you been the biggest lesson or key thing you feel in the program besides like switching to high ticket that when we working with you, I guess?
Well, there's always some hesitation, I think, for a lot of people when you buy in this program. Because I didn't know, I never heard of you guys, just to be honest with you. And then I booked a call. And then even since I've bought into this program, I've had several other similar type people reach out to me. And I was like, man, I guess there's a bunch of these people out here. So I think, and I don't have any regrets at all for buying the program, because as soon as I bought in and I had access to the course, I could tell that you guys were very professional in how you went about it. Like even the detail of the course, that took a lot of time. As somebody who makes courses myself, I'm like, y'all's course is far more professionally done than mine. I mean, mine appeals to my audience, yours appeals to your audience, but it's like they put a lot of time into this course for sure. And then the availability for the one-on-one or for the group coaching calls and the live training calls. So it's not like, oh, you're just buying something and you never hear from these guys. So I thought that made me feel a lot better about it. And it's super specific, so I kind of knew what I was doing, but it was just like, I like that you're just very direct in the videos and you say, all right, you need to make a video sales letter. Just use, for example, like here's exactly what to do. And it has a document that says do that. And that's what literally when I did my first sales call, right? I mean, probably like 5 minutes before I did the first sales call, I printed off the sales call template that you guys had done. I just printed it off and I reviewed it for like 3 minutes and then I put it down. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do a sales call, So I think it's just very, very specific information and not just kind of broad, generalized stuff.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it a lot. So any other closing thoughts there or anything you'd like to tell any creators in your old position, I guess? I
mean, I think again, I don't buy stuff like that. I'm not one of these that goes to every conference or buys everything. And one time I paid a lot of money to go to a conference, and then I paid a lot of money, fairly decent amount of money to join this program. And both times I have not regretted it, even though, it is an investment. I look at it as, one, I do learn stuff. I've been on YouTube for 14 years. I've certainly learned stuff. And I think maybe more than that, it's kind of this whole idea of having a personal trainer. Like I've invested in it. I've put money behind it. I've got somebody, somewhat holding me accountable. And so it's pushing me to do the things that I need to do and giving me specifics to do. You know, if I was working out, I'd go out there and do some things and then I'd quit, you know, but if somebody's telling me exactly what to do and hold me accountable to do it, it's just more likely to be successful.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Awesome. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for the kind words as well. I'm excited to grow this thing now.
No problem.
All right, cool.